After that last trial they had where they didn't drop the cases, Jonathan Majors went to the NYPD and another police department and decided to show them the evidence, and they found enough evidence to have her arrested. So basically, what they saw was she didn't have a broken finger. They didn't have no evidence of the laceration behind her ear until after Jonathan Majors called the cops. Um, what else was there?
Wait, what was that?
They also, it's a video
The,
out.
the
They
video, right, that
they're
she
out.
attacked him.
Well,
Okay.
and also we can't forget there's another video showing. So remember when she said her hand was injured?
Mhm.
It was another video showing her at a club, I think the same night of, walking upstairs and holding on to the railing, even though her hand
Was
got
supposedly injured.
injured.
Mhm.
And that video released publicly. So we've seen that video so far. We have not seen the altercation video where things went down, but the club footage that is public out there.
And
So
what else was you? So the taxi cab video pretty much shows her being the aggressor, right? Grabbing him, his jacket. They said she ripped his jacket when she was trying to pull him out of the car and everything. I think he had a scratch on his face. So with all of that evidence, they were like, okay, we have enough to charge her. But the article, again, yeah. But you see, the thing is, the article says that she was arrested, but then you come to find out that she wasn't even in the States. So
Right.
people are saying she's probably running, which the
which
DA.
article? The Rolling Stones one?
No, the Rolling Stones one was an article that pretty much tried to make Jonathan Majors look like the bad guy, right? So what they're saying is they spoke to 40 people and they're showing that he has a history of abuse and stuff like that, but not one of the 40 people wanted to say their names.
And what abuse did they bring up? Did they bring up any abuse that was of a violent nature?
Well,
No.
they
didn't
not
bring up
really. More or less being an asshole type of thing.
So
really,
basically I'm not equating him to Joss Whedon but basically the Joss Whedon thing or Jeff Johns, like they was
Right.
abusive to people on set, but we don't know exactly what the abuse was to an extent to where, because a lot of the stuff that they claimed was abusive, I didn't think was abusive. There was some stuff that was rude and mean, but abusive,
that's
no.
if
But it's
Right,
basically
that's if it's true.
a lot of hearsay because the 40 people supposedly go back to his life in college, some of his early films he did, and up until now. 2 people specifically talked about his relationship. They didn't give any names. They didn't say which relationships he was particularly in, but it was a person that was part of the 40 that was on the outside in, that supposedly said Jonathan was in a relationship where he was being abusive. But mind you, that's a person looking from the outside in of the relationship. They're not in a relationship. It wasn't the girlfriend saying specifically Jonathan was abusive. It was another person, a bystander.
So it's a witch hunt.
Yes, absolutely.
Basically.
I just, that was what annoyed me. I mean, I was just like, so they're just after this guy. He's part of the cycle, and they want him now. And that's what the problem with this kind of like it's the council culture mentality. They never want to give it up, and even if he's vindicated completely, exonerated, they will still. No, they won't even put it in there. They may put it on the last page of their magazine or something. Oh, Jonathan Majors exonerated. I hate this kind of by newspapers. When it's negative, it's front page. When it's positive, it's the other way around.
It's buried in article deep. But see, not sure if you've seen the timing of when this came out, but when the evidence came out that was showing more of Major's innocence, this article creeped up right after the article came out that showed more of his innocence, which pretty much goes and proves the point of this being a witch hunt. They are specifically trying to target this man to literally tear him down. Even if he might win, they just want to damage his reputation at this point, just to smear it. Because we talked about this on Chillmonger's stream. They're already in for the ride. They're like Jussie Smollett. Even though he lied, Jussie Smollett was in so deep with the lie that he just had to run with the lie. It's like, I can't back out now. I might as well just finish it up. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
So that's how Rolling Stone and a lot of people is, and you same thing said with cancel culture. Like I there's some perks to cancel culture, like getting these abused off the street, but it's like, dang, you guys just they want to just drag it, even if the person is innocent of a specific thing. They're like, oh no, he still did this, and this. We gotta really tear
I
him
don't
down.
think there is any perks to cancel culture. I don't believe in it. I believe in like the idea of like the Me Too movement and Time's Up, i.e., that let's challenge the authorities to take claims seriously, right? Like,
Well, let me give a quick.
If people came forward against a powerful person, or if people came forward against, certain kind of a certain type of man, it was very hard for them to get, a fair hearing. And that was wrong. That happened for a long time. It's true. It's documented, and that was wrong. But
Let me get real quick.
bypass due process and just going straight to shaming people in public or on social media is not the answer. It is not the cure for that, social ill.
My thing is, though, especially with the Rolling Stones article, you mean to tell me you have fucking spoke to 40 people, right? And a lot of these people are talking about how Jonathan Majors is abusive and this and that, but not one of them wanted to give their name? I find that funny because usually, it's like, oh, we got to get this guy out of here. Yes, I'll say who I am or whatever. Not one of them, not one of the 40 people, Nerdman, gave their name.
He should sue them. I don't know why he doesn't sue them for slander.
I agree. He should 100%. Defamation.
I think after the case is said and done, he is going to sue. I don't think he wants to do that right now because he wants to knock this one out the way. Because first he needs a guarantee that he can win in order to sue them. Because if he proves his innocence here, that already gives him leverage against the Rolling Stone. Because then the Rolling Stone has to die on this hill of trying to prove that he's a guilty person when in fact he was innocent of this situation, and are using these people from the past to prove a point, right? And if he's innocent of this and those 40 people cannot come out, give any specifics, any evidence, maybe video evidence, audio evidence, and even more to back up this history of abuse that they tried to tie to this case, Rolling Stone's gonna have to like back down. Like publicly, it's not a good look for them if they keep pursuing it and it ends up, falling apart. Because then they're gonna get the label of Rolling Stone's racist. They like to pursue and attack black men. And we know in this climate, while racism is still rampant, there is still enough people out there that's going to get on your ass for being racist. Real quick, let me give a prime example. Not sure if y'all seen it, but y'all know the Spider-Man Lotus guy working on that fan film that came out to be a racist dude. And
I heard about it, but yeah.
So a guy was coming out trying to do a Spider-Man Lotus fan film. It come to find out the creator of it was very racist. He had momentum to bring out his project, and now he lost all support because it come to find out he was racist behind the scenes. So I don't think Rolling Stone wants to die on that hill. They might, but I don't think they want to Jussie Smollett themselves.
Marechi Rogue, we're going to get to all of that. I've got some views, maybe a little bit controversial on this casting.
A
little bit controversial. Well, anyway,
I don't know, man. I'm just sick of the. Sorry, never mind. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say I'm just sick of all of this bullshit because you still have a lot of people, even though it seems like, and we haven't seen all the evidence. So I'll say that. but it seems like what we have seen so far, like, exonerates Jonathan Majors. Like, you know what I mean? You see the evidence and it's like you hear what they're talking about, and you see that the insider, it's not just like, oh, we have, rumors of this. No, they've actually seen the videos. Then you take those videos, you bring them to the police, right? And the police find out that there's enough evidence to actually arrest her. It seems to me like, okay, Jonathan Majors will probably win this case. But at the same time, you have this fucking Rolling Stone now who decides, oh, well, you know what? Since this, let's bring our information out. And they can't name anybody. It's definitely a witch hunt. And I said that about a month ago.
Right? Yeah. Well, I didn't know a month ago. I'll be honest. I mean, I knew it was a witch hunt. I knew it was a witch hunt. I didn't know about his innocence or guilt.
Right.
Now, what I'm looking at is why is prosecution still pursuing this?
You see, that's the question that I asked when I read the article where they gave all the information. I'm like, why are they still going to court? Like, why didn't they throw this out? And I think, like K-Dot said, is probably they're just probably too far in right now. You know what I mean? So
because Blue on Chillstream gave which does make sense to an extent, and I kind of do agree, but only if you are in a position where you can for sure win the situation. It's a DA. They want to guarantee that there will be DA again, and they want to keep up a reputation. So I'm going to convict and get Jonathan Majors, a rising black star, arrested for abusing women. It's going to look good for him on his little his little resume and stuff. His push against crime, taking down celebrities and stopping celebrities that think they're above the law and all that, blah blah blah. In this situation, the DA it's not they don't have anything on their side that's showing that okay, they are truly winning the situation. Because if I'm gonna do something like the DA and really pursue someone, like for example, let's say I'm going to engage into a altercation with somebody, a fight. Now ahead of time, if I'm going to engage in a fight, I need to know for sure. I'm going to, if I know I can't beat this person's ass, I'm gonna leave it alone. But if I know I can win, okay, I'm gonna go through with it. But if I know I can't beat their ass, I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna get embarrassed after if they beat me up in front of a bunch of people. So why would I even pursue something that I know I'm not winning? But in their case,
I think I know why.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, Jonathan Majors wins. In the public opinion, there's still gonna be people that are saying he's a woman abuser. So I think regardless of anything, they're just trying to hurt his reputation at this point. That's the only thing. That's the only reason I can see it.
I think it's kind of vindictive now. You've probably got like some feminist DA who believes
probably
somebody attacks a man, it doesn't matter if he even presumes to defend himself against a woman. That's an spousal abuse or intimate partner violence or whatever the hell they want to call it. So I think that's what it is. I think there's a feminist ideologue. I'd like to see this lawyer who's pursuing this, but I bet it's like some kind of feminist ideologue.
We didn't show it, but I think they said it's a black DA pursuing this.
It's a black, yeah,
of course,
yeah.
Bloody Chris, what's his name from the OJ trial?
Johnny Cochran.
No, Chris, what's his name?
Shit. Yeah. Oh my God. Chris Darden.
Christopher Darden.
Yeah.
Wait, Nerdman, before you continue, you might have to elaborate a little bit on the OJ thing because some of the viewers do not know your views on the OJ case like that.
I honestly don't want to. I don't. It's so stupid. Like the fact is, the majority of people that I discuss this with just haven't done any research on it, so it's pointless. You know, they go with like, and when I say research, I mean they may have read like, you know, parts of some of the majority of books on this, which are proven fucking lies.
Yeah.
You know, that basically, if you ever saw that documentary, that 3-part documentary that did that there was an Oscar, the most popular book on the OJ trial is from one of the guys who was like very prominent in that documentary, and this guy is just he's a born liar. He just pure sensationalism, whether OJ is guilty, innocent, whatever, all of the facts. He just, anything that makes that presumes guilt, he writes. Anything that is even broadly speaking, you know, it tends towards some kind of, you know, what do you call it? It tends towards some kind of, I've forgotten the word, but like anyway, it tends to show that the LAPD acted, you know, less than righteously, or you know, less than legally. He just passes out, and most people read that book, and then they go, "Oh yeah, I've read books on it. It's not a book on it." You know, so anyway, that's all I'm going to say.
I've heard some of what you think about it, Nerdman. I've heard some of the stuff you think, and I agree.
I mean, I know what Nerdman thinks on it. I'm not going to force him to elaborate on it, but you know, OJ is controversial. So, Nerdman, it is part of the topic. Did you want to go over the Ezra thing? Because I think the Ezra letter could really tie into this Jonathan situation, mainly due to the response of the Ezra letter, because I talked about this on my last stream. And even though Ezra Miller definitely does have their fair share of hate, it's weird that, you know.
Anytime you want to talk to me about the OJ Simpson thing, read this book first, and then I'll talk to you about it. And I don't even care if you agree with it or you don't agree with it. Just read it first.
But with the Ezra thing, and this is my, you know, let me make this clear to everybody. I don't hate Ezra. I supported The Flash. I saw the film. I didn't support it specifically because of Ezra. I support it because it's a Flash movie. But I don't have no hate against this individual. And I hope that they do get the help that they are looking for. Right. But after seeing their very first instant of them choking a woman, we never got no elaboration on this. So we don't know if it's a joke. We don't know if it's real. We don't know. The point is we don't know. But it's just the fact. It's just the fact that you could do that on camera. It doesn't get talked about as much. But Jonathan Majors, who wasn't on camera or caught doing anything, you know, is he allegedly hit a woman. He allegedly abused a woman. They both put their hands on a woman. Jonathan is supposedly. Ezra for sure did it on camera, on video, and a lot of people gloss over it. There was people hating on Ezra.
They were hating on him from at least online. I don't know about media. I don't know about Rolling Stone and all of those kind of.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm going, because I noticed this. I noticed this when the Ezra stuff was happening, and each incident like was coming up. Like, for example, people on Twitter. It's just one example. They'll talk about Ezra for one day. It goes quiet the next day. But Jonathan, man, people been dragging him for weeks. Like on the app, on other apps. And now that he's innocent, now that Jonathan is clearly being found innocent, anyone that was already hating on him and talking shit about him are silent. They're silent. It's literal silence.
Did you hear about that Anthony Mackie thing as well? Because that was one of the things that really that rubbed me the wrong.
Yeah. But hold on, before we get into that, Nerdman, let me just make a point on Kata. And I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, well, it happened in Mexico," but the guy who runs the NFC, Dana, whatever the hell his name is, this guy slapped his wife on a video, right? Now, I guess because it's in a different country or whatever, they can't charge him. Okay, fine. But you don't hear nobody talking about this guy being a woman abuser. You don't hear it at all, or dragging him through the mud. No, he comes back and it's business as usual, right?
Because and that's my issue with it, right? You know, mind you, it's different degrees. It is different degrees to hitting somebody and stuff. This is a wild extreme one, but Chris Brown, right? Chris Brown hit and abused Rihanna. Ezra Miller choked a woman on camera. Now it's not to the extent of Chris Brown, but this is my thing. Both of them abuse women, if you don't like people that abuse women, then both of them should be getting the equal amount of hatred from you. It shouldn't be
a lot of hatred.
No. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not.
And it's because he's gay. And a lot of people like try and go the opposite, that he's being protected and blah blah blah. Sure, maybe he is in Hollywood, but certainly online, there's a lot of people who he doesn't fit the mold of those that they would want to defend or protect. Neither does Jonathan Majors. Like, it's a black dude in Hollywood making it big. Then they've got somebody who is of some LGBTQ, you know, what does he say is they say their gender is I
forgot. I'm not disagreeing with that, because I've always believed,
because people were already going against him even before this thing happened.
Right.
Like, oh, we don't want the flesh being, you know, whatever.
Stuff.
And so I'm kind of like, I'm at a point where, yes, I admit that at least one wrongdoing was proved. One wrongdoing, which was whatever the hell I saw him doing in the thing. I wouldn't call that choking, to be fair. I would call that grabbing somebody and putting them fairly gently on the ground.
But but it's just
still an assault, right?
Right. It's just the point of, you know, okay, majority of people now in private, some people are different about these views, but traditionally in public, in the media, if a man goes out and puts their hand on a woman in any, like, using force to either hit them or harm them, it is looked down upon. Now, some people in private, they have a very different view, but in public, for the majority, if I were to go out and
what Ezra did, it would be terrible. It would be terrible, and I know.
But see, it's just my issue is I feel that people just have their biases with actors and stuff, because as soon as it's stuff,
why is the internet? Why is social media calling him a pedo? Why are they using that kind of terminology?
So
right, because some of the allegations, and that's
some of the allegations,
right. But see, those are the allegations I don't
even reach that far to call them.
What's that?
Even look at the allegations, right, and you look at the content of the allegations. None of them reach so far that you can be calling the guy a pedo. Even if you were
the girl was supposedly underage, they called him a groomer and stuff like that. The girl was
grooming.
Underage.
He grooming. He was at a party and he said that apparently, allegedly, which has been pretty much shown to be false since this judge has, or at least not provable, since this judge has completely dismissed, you know, the what did they put against him? They put a
grooming child. They put protective shit. They said
they dropped it.
Do
you know what that means?
Yeah. But Nerdman, you know, regardless of but you already know that regardless of whether they dropped it, because even if they have dropped Jonathan Majors, you're still gonna have people out there that said he did it, right? That's the thing. So my point is, even though that the allegations that they said are fake, because Saggy Mellons, shout out to her, she's done a bunch of streams on all the information. Even didn't you guys even talk to one of the girls that was doing the allegations, K-Dot?
Yep, I did.
Right. Right. K-Dot had the stream where him, Ashley, and everything, and she came on and then ended up coming out to be where like, oh, everything she said was a lie and stuff like that, right? But the point is that a lot of the stuff she was saying is she was underage or some girl was underage and stuff like that. So
Right,
that's why that's
like and mind you,
Right.
that
And there
girl
was
that
no one reporting on it. That's the thing. Everyone's saying Ezra Miller. If you actually look back, Ezra Miller's team has responded to a bunch of this stuff. Nobody cares. All they care about is driving this guy under the thing, especially on social media, not in the actual media like Rolling Stone and blah blah blah, but on social media, it's dragging this guy as far down as possible because they don't like LGBTQ. They don't like them ideologically, and I think some of them just don't like them.
and I'm not disagreeing on that. I'm just, and mind you, this is coming from my perspective of how I'm looking at. Yes, there's a lot of people that hate Ezra, but the news with Ezra was getting snuffed way more than the news with Jonathan, right? Because the way people would just press Jonathan is it just bothers me because, like I say, we did not see what Jonathan did on camera. We saw what Ezra did on camera, and it's like, okay, guys, if people saw that and they're still trying to make an excuse for it in a way where it's like he did it on camera. We don't know what the hell Jonathan did yet. Like, if we saw Jonathan on camera, beating the shit out of a woman, all right, I understand. You can clearly see it. It's clear as day. I saw what Ezra did. Now, mind you, I was giving him so many chances. I still don't wish nothing bad on Ezra at all. But it was hard for me to, like, dude, elaborate on it. Were you guys joking around when because I can't really make an excuse for him grabbing this woman if it is what it is, because as we've seen for most of these celebrities, Chris Brown got the same energy. That if you abuse women,
Can we make clear that he has denied everything except one thing or two things. One was this supposed putting this woman down on the ground or whatever that he did.
You got to do that with a bitch.
And also, I think there has been some context that's been given to that whole situation.
So neither person was arrested. Neither person was arrested.
Beer from their neighbor's house, stealing some alcohol from the neighbor's house. Now, is that a great thing to do? No, but is that like, let's cancel a person out of society?
No.
It's
not good to do, but that's not like cancel culture worthy. It ain't Harvey Weinstein cancel worthy. It's not good, but it ain't Harvey Weinstein.
What did Harvey do? He was a cool guy.
But even like, Jonathan Major stuff, it's fucking a misdemeanor charge, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's, you know what I mean? It's down to a misdemeanor charge. So
beating a woman. If he did it, then I would be able to somewhat understand.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a misdemeanor if he actually did it, right?
Punching, slapping, that kind of thing, a woman, then I don't see how you can excuse that.
No, I know, but I'm saying it wouldn't be a misdemeanor if that's the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't be charged with a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor is basically, that's what it says. Well, again, the articles, they like to talk, they make a lot of mistakes in the articles, right? Because in one of the articles, they said that she was the one that called the cops, and we know that it wasn't her, right? So, it was him. So they like to make a lot of mistakes in it, but basically what it said was that he's being charged with a misdemeanor.
Okay, now, what does that mean fully? I don't know.
That's what I was going to say. I'm not exactly sure what the misdemeanor charge means exactly, but I'm pretty sure if they had evidence of like actual physical abuse, then they would have charged him with more than
it
a
wouldn't be a
misdemeanor.
misdemeanor.
Yeah, it's more of like a warning. Sounds like.
Was it? Is he charged with misdemeanor assault?
It just said misdemeanor, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, it's and let me say this too, because I just want to make this clear to people. People's opinions on when it comes to assault and stuff, like you have your own opinion, but for me, right, a person that hits somebody else, at some point, if I see you doing actions to change your life around and do better, I can, I'm not gonna forget the act, but I can at some point forgive you if you are going down a better path to change yourself. There's stuff I wouldn't forgive, but I can totally forgive someone that has done something like that. Depends what degree you did it to. Depends what degree. But even me with like someone like Chris Brown, right? I do not endorse what he did to Rihanna, but
you still bop to his music.
Yeah, I mean, I still listen to his music, but I don't, like I said, I don't agree with what he did, but I'm not like still gonna constantly hate on this dude 24/7 because for one, his victim Rihanna is she's not constantly hating on him and trashing him. She's moved on. Not saying she's best friends with him, but she's moved on from the situation.
I hate to say this because I know people kind of act a certain way when I do, but from the interviews that I watched, right? Chris Brown did an interview. The things he said. Now, I'm not for beating up on a woman and shit, right? But sometimes if you put your hands on somebody first, you got to expect for them to put your hands back on you, whether you're a woman or not. And that's what she did. She bit the shit out of the dude. She punched him up. She slapped him up. She took his car keys, right? She was the aggressor. Now, again, I am not condoning what he did, but at the same time,
and that's the thing. I can understand the reaction, right? Because if someone were to hit, this is how my thing is. If you give out a certain energy to somebody and they're gonna give it back to you. If I walk up to somebody and say fuck you and they say fuck you back to me, they're just giving me back what I gave out. I told him fuck you. He's gonna tell me fuck you too.
If a woman puts her hands on you, that's self-defense. For me, there is like sure obviously you don't like cause them serious bodily harm or whatever.
Right. Chris Brown took it too far. Like, I understand. Absolutely. Okay. If you were to hit back, because at some point that's not self-defense anymore. You like straight up. That's not
like she was bloodied and shit. You know what I mean? And you don't have to hit a woman to that degree. You know what I mean? Like if you're stronger than them and they go on and they see you're serious, usually just have to like maybe grab them up and shake them, give them a shake and be like, yo, you better stop, give them that warning,
It'll just
but
push away.
I will say this, I think Rihanna is Bayesian and them island girls sometimes they don't play, you know what I mean? Like they don't care. Like island girls are like Jamaican men, like they just have this attitude where it's like they're gonna do whatever they want to do. So I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and say Chris Brown deserved
I don't
it.
Have on Chris Brown, honestly.
What's that?
I don't.
I'm just saying I can
talk about, at least
the situation.
And I think you're minimalizing the amount of space that was given to footage, like just everything that every time he supposedly did something, it was all over YouTube. It was all over. Media. Sure, they didn't cover that first thing. I'll agree with you on that. They didn't really cover that, whatever happened in Iceland, and he didn't really respond to it. Maybe they thought it's not really worth it. Like him coming out making a statement will just put more light on it. And really, it was maybe they knew behind the scenes that it was nothing. It wasn't what it seemed. Because what I've heard of how the girl responded, like even afterwards, there was nothing there. Like even the stuff that came out about him spitting on people and the police being called after, apparently is not factual, right?
Well, see, Nerman, and this is my point of view of the situation. This is what I think it absolutely was, right? Because it was a bar they was at, you know, two people probably under the influence, right?
Mhm.
They did two people under influence get into a little scrap. Police show up. Neither one of them want to go to jail. They don't want to go, no one wants to go to jail. Like shit. They probably just settled it there and said, hey, let's just leave it. Let's just go. Maybe Ezra paid her off, or maybe he didn't have to. Maybe she just didn't want to go to jail that day, and it was like she didn't want to go to jail for this nonsense. She want to go home. Maybe that was the case. They probably literally just dealt with it there and said, let's just go about our day. Maybe
you know what else too? Maybe Ezra Miller really does have an alcohol problem, right? Because it seems like when he goes to these bars or something, he's stealing alcohol. Maybe he has an alcohol problem. Maybe he does need help.
I did mention that last year when we talked about it. I think that was one, because a lot of incidents that happened was at bars and stuff.
Right.
I think the dude might have a drinking problem. I don't know for sure, but I think he might, because these stuff happening at bars. And mind you, you're happening at bars. There's some people under the influence when this stuff is going down. So,
right. Yeah.
Sure, but I still think even within the remit of that, so little, most of what has been spoken about him is pure innuendo. And the worst things, apart from this whatever happened in Iceland, the worst things of the grooming thing, which has been dropped, essentially. And then the second worst thing was this thing about the social services being called about a kid because he was in some.
That was also fabricated stuff, because that one about him abducting the family, he didn't abduct no family.
Right, exactly.
In my opinion, I don't think he should have gotten that business.
Turns out the guy who was trying to get his kid back was the abusive guy.
Yeah.
He was using this woman, and Ezra was trying to help her. And the social services came and were trying to give this kid back to the abusive dude. And she didn't want to go.
That's why I was.
To me, that's not a story of a bad guy. How that got turned around into Ezra being a bad guy is beyond me.
Right. And see, I think, and this is the thing, right? I'm not saying Ezra can't go out there and help people, but I think at that point, look, if you have enough evidence to prove that the dad is being very abusive, go straight to the police, because with all the stuff that was happening with Ezra, I'm not saying, just ignore everything, but I think with what was happening and with the film and stuff, dude, just get the police involved. You don't need to go out here and be the hero and take them out of this Hawaii, take them all the way to another state, and get yourself involved too much, because then, just like you said, this whole situation got flipped on his head, right? I'm not saying he did a bad thing. He did not do a bad thing, but just for the sake of for the film and himself and the other drama around it, I do not think he should have got involved. Just go straight to the police. Let the police deal with that.
You can tell from his interviews, from everything. This is a guy who goes out. He's a little bit of a hippie. He's LGBTQ. He's a progressive guy. Wants to be hippie, help people. He goes out. He gets a little weed-tarded. You know what I'm saying? Weed-tarded. Yeah. And it's a couple of beers, gets lit, and he causes a little bit of mischief. That's the type of guy he is. He is not some predator like is being bandied around on the internet. And when he came out with this statement, radio silence amongst all the papers and YouTube channels and all of that kind of stuff. And they still try to make it seem like a negative thing. This had happened. Like, oh, this doesn't prove he's innocent of everything. It's like, so what can you do?
Right. And it's the same thing they're going to say with Jonathan Majors. When his stuff comes out, they're going to be like, oh, well, this doesn't prove nothing. How do we know he didn't pay her off, or some bullshit, right? It's always going to be some bullshit.
Let's see. This is the best thing about this year, because I want to see how November pans out. The Marvels comes out in November, right? This guy right here still has his allegations of pedophilia on his name, right? We haven't got no updates. We haven't gotten updates like the way Jonathan Majors and his team is giving us updates.
He's the father, right, of one of the Marvel girl,
Kamala Khan,
Miss
and
Marvel,
he's in the movie too. He's showed up. We don't know it to an extent, but he was in the trailer. It's confirmed he's in the movie, right? Do not know to an extent, but he's gonna have a scene where he's gonna see Carol Danvers and she's gonna meet Kamala, all that, blah blah blah. So he's probably gonna have enough screen time to where he has a presence. Not gonna be like 1 minute, but this is the thing. I want to get. I want to, huh?
About as much as Amber Heard, right?
Maybe. I think they're gonna have just as much because Amber is not the lead of Aquaman 2. It's Jason and Orm. Jason and Patrick Wilson are the leads of that movie. And Black Manta's the villain. Amber Heard, Mara has way less screen time. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know, but she has less screen time than her first film where she was the second supporting lead.
And I also heard that because I watch Everything Always, and pretty much was confirmed that Jonathan Majors scenes were not taken out of Loki, right? But they said that he never had such a huge role in Loki season 2 anyways. He wasn't going to be the villain of it.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did either.
So I think Marvel is probably seeing the information now and is probably sticking with him. So hopefully he gets off and he can continue doing what he was doing.
Well, and that's why I say real quick. That's why I'm curious about November. There's a lot of people that has this narrative now that they're not going to support a movie, even if someone has allegations or they are actually confirmed to be abusive.
To me,
this person here has allegations. Mohan, he has allegations of pedophilia. Pretty heinous stuff, worse than what Jonathan Majors has. These same people, now I'm not saying you can't go watch a movie, even if a person like Mohan Kapoor is in it. I like Jeepers Creepers 1 and is directed by Victor Salva. Right?
Yeah, but the difference is we saw like Jeepers Creepers 3 in theaters.
Yeah, but fuck the director. Fuck the director, but I can separate the actual art and the person because they're still separate.
Oh yeah, because I watch I still listen to R. Kelly. You know what I mean?
No, but
see, this is my point. In this situation, there's a narrative that we can't support people that have allegations, and even if they did bad stuff. If I see about a lot of these people that are saying they won't go support Aquaman 2 or go support something Jonathan Majors did, are about to watch the Marvels in November.
It's stupid to me. It's like hundreds of people worked on it, and you're gonna boycott it because of like
one person,
like 10 minutes of screen time.
And mind you, this person, he's not going to even be a big factor. He's Kamala's father. He played a big factor in her TV show, but still, he's in it. By if that's the case, then your money is going to go to supporting this guy too.
Stay silent. Watch it because it's fake outrage. Exactly. Fake outrage.
Facts.
If I don't want to support someone because I don't like something they've done, some criminal thing, I'm not coming on the internet talking about it. I just don't go and watch it.
Absolutely.
They want to be visible saying it and saying it about the right things that they already didn't want to support. How many of the Snyder heads are like suddenly they conveniently forgot that that Ezra Miller was basically casted by Zack Snyder. Conveniently forgot that. And just a script where the Flash is like somehow against the Snyderverse or whatever. And then they were calling him a pedo. Oh, look, they don't want to keep Henry Cavill, but they want to keep this pedo.
And it seems like they also forget, what Ben Affleck has done and the people he hung out with.
It's like it's full on bullshit, bro. Full on bullshit. And what they did against Anthony Mackie on Twitter is disgusting.
Oh yeah, we got to get into that because
let me bring that up because he did nothing wrong. He just
absolutely nothing. All he said was speaking facts. Like nothing has been proven. You know what I mean? He's innocent until proven guilty, which is basically you guys' law in America, right? You know what I mean? So what the hell are we talking about here?
And this the thing too. Like, he's the only person from the MCU, from the Marvel Studios employee. He's the only Marvel Studios employee that came out and supported. Michael B. Jordan hasn't even said anything on it. Not saying he has to, but it's Kevin Feige said nothing on this. Nate Moore, the producer of a lot of the black stuff, black related, PLC stuff in Marvel, he hasn't said nothing. Victoria Alonso hasn't said nothing. Nobody has really said nothing aside from Anthony Mackie, the only person at Marvel Studios that has spoken on this.
But you know what? You know what? I'll say this though, because I know a lot of people say that, oh, how come this person never spoke out? This person, but maybe he was asked the question, right? If no one asked him the question, maybe he wouldn't have said anything. But he was probably asked, "What do you think about the situation?" And that's what he said, right?
This is a quick answer,
right? You can't really expect like everybody to come out and say, "Oh, well, this and that and this and that." You know what I mean? Like, I don't have an issue.
I mean, yeah, I don't need everybody to come. But it just says a lot to me that Anthony Mackie did address it, and I respect him for that. Like,
absolutely.
At least you know that someone got Jonathan's back, or is at least not saying they're trying to defend him or cap for him, but at least is giving him a chance. And Anthony Mackie is giving Jonathan a chance at least.
Yeah, well, he's saying the normal thing.
Soul is a second. You see how he is? You see, this is how the MCU people.
What are you talking about?
He wouldn't even back a brother. If he was in a situation, he'd stay silent, bro.
Absolutely, that is not true, 100%. But I mean, like, I can
see the point. If you ask me a question on it, I'll give an answer. I may not outright say it from jump, but if you ask me a question on it, I'll give my opinion.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But if it's no reason, because I have to, also have to look out for myself too. Because Anthony Mackie, he did receive a lot of negative backlash from this, which was totally unwarranted because he didn't say nothing wrong. Now, if he says something like, well, I mean, this man, well, if he says something like, man, women lie all the time. Okay. That's if he says something like that, I understand the backlash. I totally understand it, right?
Absolutely.
But he didn't say nothing like that. He just kept it very simple.
And some of them get angry that he didn't go in detail.
Law of the United States of America and got ambushed to it. Like that's the world we're living in, bro.
I didn't know what you said, nerd man. What was that?
Actual laws and rights of individuals in America, and got backlash for it.
And see that's the crazy thing right now. Just because someone lives in a country doesn't mean they need to accept and like everything about it. Like, I don't accept and like everything about America, but I'm glad I'm living here than certain other places that don't allow me certain rights that I get allowed more rights here than I would say another country. But it's the fact that a lot of the Americans that is combating what he's saying agree with the being innocent until proven guilty, because if they was in the same exact situation as Jonathan, they would want the same chance to defend themselves in that situation.
They can't put this is another person's perspective, because we live in a society that is just completely drowned out, our natural inclinations towards empathy. People can't empathize. All they can do is be, like I'm not a Christian, right? And I don't tend to believe in God, but I think there's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. And one of the things that I think is most wise, those without sin throw the first stone. It's one of the greatest things ever written, amongst the religious text. And it's like all these Christian, they live in a Christian country, like major Christian country, and all of them seem to have abandoned and forgotten that thought.
That's the it's not to be Jesus, but kind of live, because okay, let's throw Jesus in the situation. He'd give Jonathan a chance. He'd give Anthony Mackie a chance to prove himself, or give him. Well, Jesus will forgive probably anybody, but he'll give you a chance. And a lot of the people that believe in that faith, believe in Christianity and stuff, they're trying to get to this place of being holy and stuff, and they don't do that stuff a lot. And I'm not saying it's a specific religion thing, but I see a lot of people that are very judgmental and don't know how to forgive, but
Well,
preach forgiveness.
There's a lot of hypocrisy amongst Christians, because if they lived an actual Christian life, you know, the shit like this, the overwhelming shit like this wouldn't happen in America. I mean,
And you know what's funny too?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I forgot my train of thought. Oh, okay. So yeah, Rolling Stone, right? They brought back everybody's past and stuff like that. And like you said, Nerdman, if you did that to most people in Hollywood, you would probably find out that 90% of them are assholes. You know what I mean? Like 90% of them have done certain things and have, you know what I mean, to get on top, and maybe done something that they wouldn't have done, treated people bad or something like that. So
yeah.
I mean, hey,
exactly
prime
what you said,
example.
bro.
You know, David Zazev, right? Now, while I don't disagree with all his business decisions, but he has made some fucked up decisions that lack a lot of heart. You know, mind you, if however people agree on the Batgirl situation, for you to go in there, people worked on something for probably, you know, over 7 months, and it's literally about to be done, and you say, "I'll get rid of it, destroy it all." A bunch of people worked on that, put hard work into it, time, effort. They had to fly overseas and stuff, probably sleep in dirty hotels and stuff. And you take their work and you destroy it like that.
He was on
Mm-hmm.
To do something like that, you have to lack a lot of heart. I'm sorry, like, but mind you,
And not care about art.
yeah, you sometimes you can't mix feelings and business. I understand that. But to live that type of lifestyle.
I know. So a few of the films got leaked online, K-Dots, and they were pretty good.
He should have done that. Quite frankly, he should have done that to Batgirl. He should have done that to probably
Don't say Blue Beetle.
He should have done that shit to the Blue Beetle as well, and possibly possibly even Flash with that CGI. He should have go back, sort out your CGI, or you're not coming out.
There's nothing to fix with that film. Just trash it.
Nah, the Flash not trash.
The Flash was tight, but look,
dear.
The Flash was tight. In any case, the CGI was so rough that I could understand him go back to the drawing board. And
how you doing?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I understand too. I don't defend that CGI either. I don't make that clear.
You know what I watched the other day? I was watching How I Met Your Mother, and it does a deep fake scene. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that, but it does a deep fake scene
some episodes
of Barney, right, in Dirty Dancing as Patrick Swayze, and it was better than the CGI deep faking in The Flash. Like literally, his face was.
I don't know, man. Young Barry was spot on.
I'll bring it up right now. The CGI of the deep fake they did of Barney, he was basically in Dirty Dancing in the scene, and it was his face on Patrick Swayze, and it was seamless. How the fuck does a 300 million plus movie not get that right?
Hey, I don't know.
We know
but,
how.
Hey, we have been seeing issues with the VFX companies. So
no, we know how. It's a DC movie. That's why.
Nah, don't pull that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pull that shit, y'all.
Okay, listen, K-Dots.
I remember Black Panther's third act.
K-Dots, you cannot complain about CGI and like visual effects companies when you advocated for it.
I literally don't condone the weak CGI in Flash.
Or DC movie.
Three scenes, mind.
No, I'm not gonna have it. I like the movie, but there's not been a single superhero movie in the DCEU or MCU that has had CGI that bad. Not one.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing. Well, Black Panther third act, that was.
It wasn't as bad.
It wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't as bad.
That Killmonger.
Don't forget Wakanda Forever. That CGI in the final act
film.
I don't rate that movie. I think The Flash is better than that movie. Take that, because it.
Better than what movie?
Black Panther.
I mean, that's not a high bar,
What?
but it's not better than
What?
Black
Wait,
Panther.
which
Black
Black
Panther's a good
Panther?
movie.
And Black Panther, in fact.
The first Black Panther?
He's talking about the first
Yeah,
one.
both of them.
You are out of your fucking mind.
I mean, the second, yes,
That's
but the
that's
first.
that DC
Always
bullshit.
the
What are,
damn Fury of the Gods. It's better than the both of the Black Panther.
that's that
movies.
DC bullshit. Get out of here, bro.
I mean, you preaching.
Anyway, K-Dots, no, you don't have a right to like talk about that with CGI companies, all right? You were cheering with that Sonic redesign despite knowing it would put
Oh
the visual
no, that
effects
that
studio out
redesign
of
needed to
business.
happen, Cole. No, that had to happen. I was not
No.
going to sit there and accept a Sonic movie
They
where
put
Sonic
the
don't look
visual
like Sonic.
effects studio out of business because of their own fuck up. That's what it caused, and nobody cares about them. They just care about their
Hey.
little Sonic redesign.
But they should have never made him look like that in the first place.
It wasn't their fault though. They were told what to do.
See, this
But
is the
I don't disagree. But the people who made the decision to make him look like that in the first place knew it was going to get backlash.
Yeah, so yeah, they should
and
like
never
lose
made
your
that
house and
decision in the
shit.
first place.
They
In
should
the
like
movie.
mortgage your house for the visual effects studio
Sure.
there.
Sean, it didn't even make the movie look better. I'm saying it made it look marginally better, and that movie was trash. Everyone going on like pretending. This is the thing. This is how
Are you
I
talking
know.
about the Sonic movie? Oh, you
The
crazy.
Sonic movie was trash. This is how I
All
know.
right, you
It
taking it
was.
too far now, Dervin. You
No,
changed.
it was.
This is
Change
how
it,
I
man.
know that
That's what we fire, bro.
people decide before they've seen a movie that they like the movie, and they collectively decided because was it Sony? Because Sony had basically bent the knee essentially to them and redesigned Sonic, that they were just going to love this movie in spite of anything that it actually was. Well, they went in, they saw a perfectly generic, unfunny,
Yeah, mediocre.
maybe was uplifted a little bit by Jim Carrey. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, this is really good. This is
Yeah, if it wasn't for all that and weren't fanboys of the video game, then they would call it mediocre
Yes,
at
it is
best.
infinitely better than whatever this garbage was.
I don't care. It didn't
Wait.
improve the fucking
Yeah,
film.
so wait. So they should have stuck to their guns and wasted time releasing a movie of a character that does not look like the character.
I don't care.
Is this the update or is this the?
This is the original design. This is what he looks like.
At least if they kept it. Yeah, if they kept it, at least the film would have actually been funny then to watch.
Dude,
No, look. I'm not gonna watch a Superman movie and Superman's not wearing his Superman suit and it's called a Superman movie. You better put him in the Superman suit.
Pull up the new design. Pull up the new design. I want to see the new design. That looks exactly like what I saw in the movie.
No, it does not.
Nah, this is his design.
No. I want the same similar picture. That's not the same type of picture. You can't see it.
Right there on the bottom right corner, K-Dot.
Where?
Right there with the eyes. Go. Yeah, right there. No, the other one.
Put it big.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that one.
that's the original. No, that one there is the original. Go over more with the eyes. Yeah, there you go.
So the original was on the right, and then on the left. Okay, it looks better.
I told you, nervous.
Yeah.
You know it looks better. But look, I don't agree with the visual effects company going out of business, but the people who told them to make that original design should have never made that decision in the first place because they knew that was dumb. Why would you even tell them make Sonic look like that and he doesn't look like Sonic? Like that's like giving me a Mario
they did it on
movie.
purpose.
Yeah, I think they did to do something like that and then have them overhaul it.
And then bring it back and be like, look, guys, we listened to you guys. Here you go. And then
Right.
what happened? Everybody went to go see the Sonic movie.
You are smoking the best kush I've ever seen in my life. If you think that movie was good,
Nah, Vishan knows he's talking about. Sonic 2 is better, but Vishan knows he's talking about. Vishan, you right. That Sonic movie was so.
Stop it.
Nerdman being a hater.
in comparison,
Sonic 2 is better than 1.
I'll go as far as to say the new version of Aladdin was more entertaining than.
Okay, well, that's taking it too far.
No,
The new version of Aladdin.
I don't like the new version of Aladdin. Don't get it twisted, Cole. I do not like the new version of Aladdin.
Yeah, it's
The new
garbage.
version of Aladdin.
But
What am I
it was
missing?
better than Sonic.
Nah, Sonic
No.
was good, bro.
You're only saying, man,
Yeah,
you're only
no.
saying that because Will
Sonic
Smith.
is
Sonic is one of
painfully
the best.
mediocre.
No, it's one of the best comic book movies. Video game adaptation.
No,
movies they made.
it's just mediocre. But no, Aladdin is garbage.
It is
not
it is an
better.
actual look. I'm not saying the movie's like some masterpiece in filmmaking, but for a video game movie, solid.
There's way better
Finally,
ones.
like done right.
There's way better
I'd
ones.
rather
Like what?
watch-
What's better?
Like Silent Hill, like Ace Attorney.
Silent Hill. Nah, Silent Hill
Yes.
was garbage, bro. What are we talking about?
You are high. What?
Silent Hill was garbage. The first Silent Hill was garbage. That was garbage.
It had issues, but no, it was solid.
It was garbage.
I'd rather watch the
What?
first fight than
Yeah, it was
movie again.
garbage.
What?
I mean, you know, look, Mortal Kombat 95, I think was a perfect video game adaptation.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
better
than
as well.
Sonic, but
Dude,
Sonic was
of course
also a
it's better.
good video game adaptation too.
No, it wasn't.
Of course, it's better. The first
One of you chodes was repping for the Mortal Kombat movie as well, the recent one. One of you was.
Oh, that's K-Dot over
I
here.
like it. I didn't hate it.
Over that piece of
Oh,
garbage
my
movie.
This is what I'm talking about. You're the one always talking about how the humans in these films ruin everything. Those humans in the Sonic movie are trash, bro.
They're barely in the Nah, don't hate on Tom. Tom's
I can kind of agree with you on that, Nerd Man, 100%. But I don't think they were as bad as some of the other ones. Like for me, I think Detective Pikachu was really good too.
I'm sure Detective Pikachu was good.
Yeah,
I
No,
think
it was terrible.
No, it wasn't. It was good.
my issues with Detective Pikachu was how they approached the story, not really with the concept itself, but how they approached the story. I don't think they should have done a Detective.
Terrible. It was literally just nostalgia, and you'll eat it up.
Try and tell me the new Transformers movie is not better than Sonic 1 and 2.
The new Transformers movie?
It is.
Yeah.
It is better. Yeah, it's better.
Man,
with the humans better?
It's all right.
I mean,
the
it's
humans,
better,
the humans
but that's
are
not
better
saying
too.
much.
No. I don't think the humans are better in
Transformers? Absolutely.
You are nuts, bro.
No.
Absolutely they are. 100%. I agree with you, Nerd Man.
Tom is way cooler than Noah. Shouts out Tom the GOAT. He did his thing.
You are out of your mind.
He did his thing. Oh, shouts out Maddie. Shouts out Maddie too. This we had a baddie in our movie, bro. We had a baddie in our movie. What y'all had? Nothing. We had a baddie in our movie, and y'all didn't come with nothing.
I wouldn't say she was a baddie, but okay.
A mediocre actress, that's all.
She had it all. Y'all just hated.
Jim Carrey tried his damnedest, bro.
Who's
Jim
that?
Carrey was tight in the movie, Nerd Man. He was funny.
Mediocre. What are you talking
Animated.
about?
He did his thing.
He was
He was.
trying at least, but what could he do with that script?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like what? Tell me one memorable moment with that actress. Go ahead, K-Dots.
Yeah, go on. Tell me a good moment with the Tom.
Tom?
Yeah, him too.
Throwing the ring to Sonic and opening up the portal.
What?
The fight in the bar.
The fight in the bar. Fucking.
I mean, shit. Tell me something memorable with Noah. Nothing. Noah ain't did nothing memorable in that Transformers movie.
What are you talking about, bro? He had the exosuit.
That shit was whack.
We need to do a rating of computer game movies because there aren't any good ones. I don't know. I'm trying to think now. Can we bring up computer game movies?
You mean video game? Yeah, Mortal Kombat 95, Sonic 1, and Sonic 2.
And you know, even
and then I guess the Mario movie. I guess
what was it? The new one with the zombies.
Yeah, the Mario movie was good too.
The new one with the zombies.
Resident Evil.
No. The new, the really new one.
What, the Mortal Kombat?
No, the TV show.
What TV show?
There is on HBO.
Oh, the last. Okay. Fuck.
The Last
of Us. Oh yeah, and The Last of Us too. That's a really great adaptation.
Yeah, but that was a show though.
I mean, it was good. People overhype it.
I think that game.
It was good, but it was
I think that game.
You think
That
what?
That was a good adaptation.
It was good, but what the problem is I had with it is they didn't have enough zombies or whatever you.
Well, I mean, it was more about the story anyway.
have
But the
enough,
problem I had about it is
Yeah, but they,
Like
But
they
I
tried
don't
to
blame for
drag
that
out.
criticism because
I don't know.
I
They
don't
tried
blame
to
them.
drag out episodes that didn't need it for like they tried adding character backstory and more from in the show compared to the video game, and it just didn't fit right. It was a
Right.
little
Like
uneven, and then they
bill.
shortened things that should have been longer. And the first half of the show I thought was a bit rough, like especially that first episode. I really wasn't a fan of that or the one younger actress, but the second half of the show was a big improvement.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think it did not have enough zombies in it. I'm sorry,
like
I mean, it's not as much about that.
Walking Dead season
that-
1 and
that's
2 kicks its ass.
yes, it was. That's what it's about, though. That's what Last of Us is about, though. It's about the
Yeah,
zombies.
I mean, it does have a lot of zombie
We agree on
moments.
that. The Walking
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It has two.
No, I meant the
in
video
the whole
game.
series. Right? Yeah, I know.
Can we agree that The Walking Dead season 1 and 2 and even 3 kicks its ass?
No, season 1 is great.
Kicks
The
what
others are
ass?
shit.
Last of Us.
Kicks what ass? Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that one. You those are good.
100%.
Those are good
Season 1,
seasons.
2, and 3
No,
Kill
just season 1.
kills it.
No,
All right.
No,
Cole,
it's more
you
than
going-
season.
Cole, you taking it too far now. You know.
Yes, what do you mean?
No, it's more
Season
than
1
season one.
was
It's more than
fantastic.
season
Then they cheaped down and turned it into like a soap opera with like one zombie per episode to save costs, and it was all
Nah,
shit. It was
nah.
shit writing, shit
No, that's
acting.
bullshit. That is bullshit. That is
Especially when
bullshit.
you lost
That is
all
bullshit.
credibility,
That
and
is
you
bullshit.
can't find a bigger Walking Dead hater than me. You cannot find a bigger one in terms of like everything that happened afterwards. Like maybe it was season 4 onwards. I was just like, I don't
No,
know.
it's
Anyway,
a lot of people fell off on season 5, like Vashon
maybe it was
says,
season 5. I know it was one. It was
but I liked
was
it from start to finish.
acting stupid so that the plot could continue. Because they were in completely safe environments and everything was fine for them, and then they'll do some dumb shit, and just to make it so that the zombies would,
Yeah,
you
like
know.
remember the well
huh?
in season 2.
That was it. You remember when they sent Glenn down the well to put the rope around the zombie, and then they pulled it up and they dropped his guts in the water?
Yeah, and that was the one zombie that episode, and then the next episode they have another zombie, and that's old because they saved costs.
No, but it got even dumber than
AMC
that.
shit.
It got even way dumber than that. I mean, after a while, it was just like you're in a little prison. There are prison gates around. You can literally pick things off like real easy, real simple, and they somehow managed to screw that up. And I was just
like again, the reason why so many characters died at random, Nerdman, was because 50% of them wanted off that garbage show, and the other 50%, the showrunners were just like pulling a Game of Thrones. It's like they're not done with their character arcs, but they're just like, hey, let's kill them off anyway because it will shock the audience. And that's why the baby in that show went missing so many times, because they did that purposely, wrote it in, and then we're like, well, it looks like you have to kill her off now. And then the director's like, no, put her the fuck back in, so she always shows back up again. This is pretty funny.
I mean, I actually don't mind the spin-offs of The Walking Dead. The spin-offs are actually sometimes a little bit better. But certainly the main storyline of The Walking Dead I think it went off a cliff after a while. I didn't really. Yeah.
So
I think the more interesting thing is about the zombie outbreak for me, anyway. Like I always like the films that deal with the outbreak. And like,
well, that's why I liked it for still a while. Like again, I think season 1's fantastic, and the rest after that is just like competent until it turned to complete shit. But I still enjoyed it because I always was fascinated by zombies, and that just like covering every little aspect you possibly can, even if it was kind of poorly done, poorly written, like a soap opera. But by season 6, so around that, then they just completely just went off.
So we do need to get Nerdman's opinion on this. We will revisit the stuff we were just talking about. But Nerdman, we need your opinion on the new Man of Steel. And what do you think? We have not heard your opinion yet. I assume you have a very hot take. I assume you got a hot take.
Okay, I've got 3 hot takes.
Oh shit!
Oh, Lord.
Fuck!
Here we go.
Lay it on us. We ready?
Okay, first I'll say, oh, and that's Lois Lane.
Yes. Rachel Brosnahan.
Okay, first they need to. They've got Alexander Skarsgård and what's his name? The other brother. What's the other brother's name? Alex and who?
Yeah, they're being hinted at to possibly be a Lex Luthor. They're in the right.
He needs to get the weird-looking one to play Brainiac, and the good-looking one to play Lex. The man's name is Alex.
I know which one you're talking about. Get Pennywise to play Brainiac, and the Northman, Alex, who played the guy in the Northman, to play Lex.
And if you see him on the Succession as well, he's perfect for it. He is absolutely perfect for it. So they need to cut that shit out. Now on to Cornswoggle.
Did you just call him Cornswoggle? I mean, to be fair, that is his Twitter name. He's called him Cornswoggle. Sound like a Harry Potter character.
I've seen him act. He's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I have this problem with this casting. And it's the only problem with the casting. Because if this is the guy who fired, right, your boy, what's his name?
Jimmy Gunn?
James Gunn. Who did he fire for Superman? For Henry Cavill. This is the guy who fired Henry Cavill, right? Why is he recast Henry Cavill as Superman? If this was what you wanted as Superman, why even bother firing Henry Cavill and causing all this self-destruction of the DC universe? I thought he wanted something different. This guy is basically Henry Cavill. He looks like Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
But see, this is the difference. He's going to be better.
Sure, okay, he will be more traditional type Superman in terms of his moral.
No, I think look, I don't agree. Look, I think Henry with good material, actual good material, good Superman material can be good. But I mean,
this guy is no better actor than Henry Cavill. I can tell you that much from everything I've seen of his. He's no
I've
better.
never seen him in shit, so
I haven't seen him in nothing either. I still need to watch and see what he
goes for Hollywood. He was fine. He's not a bad actor. He's not a great actor. He's a decent actor. I don't expect him to be bad. I expect him to be pretty good. But he's pretty straight. It's like this was a fan cast, and it's like James Gunn doesn't have any balls. Like what is his vision of Superman? This is his vision. Then why not just choose out Henry Cavill? I don't understand it.
Look, Henry Cavill had I'm sorry to say it, but Henry Cavill had his chance. He had 3 films. Mind you, he got some shitty fucked up material that fucked him up, but Man of Steel, BVS, 2 Justice League movies. It's not his fault that Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder didn't propel him in the right positions to, for example, like he should have got a Man of Steel 2. Henry Cavill should have got a Man of Steel 2. But Warner Brothers was like, no, let's do BVS. And then we got him in BVS, and then Zack took him down the arc where he got to kill him at the end of the movie. Then he's barely in the Justice League movie, barely has screen time to really show his acting and show his growth as Superman because he's dead majority of the movie. I wish Henry stayed. I was happy seeing him in Black Adam, but he had 10 years of being kind of Superman and nothing. It's just
look.
It's time to move on. It's time to move on from Ezra Miller. Time to move on from Ben Affleck. They all had their chances.
Dwayne Johnson.
They need to get rid of all of them. But I'm happy that they're moving on. I feel this is a little bit of it's a lot of a safe choice. It's a super safe choice, and maybe that's sensible since the internet wanted it. You know, don't piss off the internet. You've already
Nah, he
pissed
was in the running. He was
already-
literally in the running.
You've already pissed off the Henry Cavill fans, but I do think this is a super safe choice. And he's kind of still too good looking for me as well, like to be Superman. I can't see this guy wearing a pair of glasses and women wouldn't be checking for it.
Let's see. Let's see who look like it's flash.
He,
Wait a minute.
The first image.
He looks like. Wait, no. Are those real? No, those aren't real.
No. Look at the first image.
That's real.
No,
Yeah.
that's quite good. If they do him like that,
he
that
looks
would be-
like a fucking nerd, man. He can do it better than Henry. Henry looks too good. Look at that. He does not look like a nerd. He looks too good. He's way too handsome for Clark Kent. Way too handsome. I'm sorry.
Actually, that first picture, if they could capture that,
Yeah,
and
that's
get
perfect.
you look. If they could capture that, then I'm down with it.
Yeah.
See? Now look at Henry. Henry is. There's one thing about Henry you can't say he's not a handsome dude. He's handsome, right? But as Clark Kent, he looks way too handsome. I'm sorry. Like
I think one thing they need to do is not bulk him up that much, right? I think they need to keep this like not a skinny Superman, but like a
Robert Pattinson size.
Yeah, just athletic. This guy, the muscles were popping out of his shirt, bro. And I'm not, I liked it. I thought he was sexy. I know Onzo liked it as well, right?
So, no, I did not.
I mean, do you want him to bulk up to at least look like this?
A little bit athletic, but like I don't need him popping out with muscles everywhere. I hate that that's happened to superheroes. Like, I feel like, if a certain hero needs it, then it makes sense. But if they don't need that and it doesn't really fit their mythology, they don't need to be like all.
Well,
yeah.
Look at Christopher Reeves. He wasn't buffed as a Superman. You know what I mean? But he's still considered one of the best Supermen.
Right. I don't think you need all that, man. And so I hope they, keep him whatever, because he looks from that like he could pull off a geek. But that's what I was worried about. I just thought he looks so much like Cavill, and Cavill just.
But see, look at it like this, because I don't think that's a bad thing. You want to get a guy that looks like Superman, right? All right, if they get a guy that kind of looks like Cavill, that's a good thing, because Reeves, Brandon Routh, Tyler, they all got one thing in common. They look like they can be a Superman in a suit, right? That's even Dean Cain, while people don't agree with his views, even he had that Superman look to him to an extent.
He had a Superman look to his costume was garbage though, but like he had the best Lois Lane.
Yeah.
The special thing about Reeve was just that ability to look like an absolute geek 1 minute and then be Superman.
He know how to transform.
And I don't know that's a hard one to cast for. Look at him. He looks great as Superman and a geek as
Like, he looks like a nerd.
Like, he comes into a coffee house or whatever looking like that. None of the girls are checking for this dude. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what you need. That's what I want to see, like, from my Clark Kent.
That I'm saying I want to see that too. Like, I want to see that dynamic, because for the we know it's fictional and it's just part of the suspension of disbelief. But nobody doesn't know who Superman is because he uses his mannerisms to throw people off. He'll change the way he walks, the way he stands to throw people off and keep Lois Lane from figuring out, oh, Clark Kent is Superman. Even though, yes, she should be able to see him is like, that is Superman. But it's him hiding in plain sight and not drawing too much attention to himself that keeps people from realizing that. Yes, it's.
And I just don't know if Paul Eagles can do that. I'm still looking like.
I think. Look, this thing, right? I don't know his acting chops. But as far as the look goes, and the build he has, and I think if he bulks up, to look like a good, slim, slender Superman, right? But I do want to see that transformation between Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah, I think they tested it out though, probably in the casting. They probably had them put on the different outfits, and they probably.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
Also, yeah,
But there
paired
was a
them
lot
to
of
see who had the best
pressure.
chemistry.
What I'm concerned about is there was a lot of pressure to cast this guy online, and maybe he didn't pick the best guy. He picked the most popular guy because
I
he
don't think he
knew
did.
that people
He
already
doesn't do
hated.
that.
James Gunn does it. A lot of
James
the actors he
Gunn is a
picked
great
aren't.
caster. I don't know what you're talking about. What has he casted so well apart from The Rat? I don't know who.
But he doesn't cast anyone like bad.
Star-Lord.
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 Gamora was good.
Gamora.
Gamora was good casting, but she wasn't perfect casting for Gamora.
Dave Bautista. Now you may not like his Drax, but as far as acting goes, Dave Bautista.
And I'll say this because I know you don't like it, but John Cena's Peacemaker.
Oh, that was trash.
Look, you gotta give James credit for this. Mind you, I did not like John Cena as an actor before Peacemaker or anything that he did.
I still don't.
But I give James Gunn credit for giving John Cena material where I'm actually like, okay, I kind of like you now.
Yeah, well, that's all he did. He just carried him with his material to be competent. It wasn't John Cena who did anything.
Yeah, I'm not saying he was great or nothing, but that's the first time I seen him in
one scene. I believe he's Peacemaker. Not one. I haven't seen a single scene in that whole show or anything in the Suicide Squad where I believe he is who he like. It's like he's remembering his lines, bro. Don't start on this bullshit. He's worse than The Rock. He's way worse than Batista. Way worse.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
Cena's better.
Batista's actually done good stuff, like Blade Runner.
I don't know why you guys are so like, well, not you, Nerdman, but especially Cole. Like, why you're so up on Batista? I watched that Knock in the Cabin. Like, he's not great.
I never said he was great.
He's not great either. No, he's not great.
Yeah, nobody's saying he's great. We're just saying
he's the better of the three wrestling actors.
Out of the ones who transitioned, he's the best, and that's also including Roddy Piper.
More charisma. This is the thing. The Rock's actually got charisma, and that's the difference. So
he can't act.
I don't mind. He's got that Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of like cheeky charm about him, where you don't even care that he's not like the greatest actor or anything. Arnold Schwarzenegger's better at it, but he's got that. So I don't see John Cena having anything. He's just some geek who like did weights, as far as I'm concerned.
John Cena had some good scenes in Peacemaker to show, man, like when he was crying and stuff, and he had some good scenes in it.
Put it on now. Put it on right now. Show me the scene where he was crying.
Okay, I'll have to bring it up.
I'll bet you my left nut, he's trash.
He's getting better, though.
You know, you can sell your left nut for $25,000, so I guess prepare for that.
Can you?
Yeah, you would know, right?
Yeah.
You sold
it. I'll watch this. No, I watched this Cheapskates episode, and yeah, you can like do that for 25 or 50K.
You soldiers, bro. Let's not.
Hey, I mean, for like 50K, I would sell.
Not like you were using them.
Anyway, I have to go prepare for another stream. So I'll talk to you all later. But just remember, Nerdman spits the facts.
Oh, stop it. I'm gonna have to ban this guy from my chats and everything.
I could show, but
you're afraid to put it on. He's his hands shaking. Right he knows that he's wrong. Go on, play it.
All right, then. All right, guys. So this scene where Peacemaker is gonna kill his daddy. Let's go. Can you hear it?
No.
Why are you like you the only one that does that? I don't get it. You do know that when you share the video, the check mark is already checked, right?
I know. I don't know how he does that.
No, because I go to share the tab. I share the whole tab. I don't hit the just share the screen. It's okay. Google. It's got like 3 different options for tabs. It's weird. All right.
You killed my brother.
Oh my god.
And you're only right about one thing. I am a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit for listening to you for all those years. I'm a piece of shit for not killing you in your sleep.
Fucking terrible.
No, it's not terrible, bro. It's not.
This is good, nerd man.
It's
You
not
just
terrible.
don't like Peacemaker.
Yeah, you're just hating.
And do
You're
it,
just
you
hating.
You are a liar, sir.
You're just hating.
faggot.
Sir.
I control you. Whether or not I kill you, you'll never be able to get the fuck away from me.
Acting against him. It makes him look like a villain.
He was solid in this scene,
You're
right? here.
hating.
This
He
one of
wasn't
the best acting
solid
I've
at
ever
all.
seen John Cena do in his damn
Right.
life.
This guy, you were there hating on Onzo and bloody Ezra Miller, and you're repping for this guy. Oh my god.
Shouts out to Peacemaker, man.
Oh my god.
Dude, this is a really weird time to do your face exercises.
Oh yeah. Look at
Yeah.
and they spoil it with a get this shit out of here, man.
Crying, asshole.
You're a hater, nerd man. Look, let me show you another scene. I keep showing you more scenes.
I don't know.
Yeah, where he thinks the eagle died. And I wasn't even talking about that scene, Akeda. I was talking about the one where he's sitting on the couch after he felt like he was betrayed.
When he's dancing in the house.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh.
I was open to that.
Oh yeah, I was
being
good.
good. I was open to that. I'll even give you a good John Cena scene if you want a good John Cena scene.
Oh, show me that. There's not be no
Look-
WWE shit.
Look up Trainwreck.
Train wreck.
He's good
Oh,
in
that
practically every scene of that.
Train wreck.
The movie with Amy Schumer and LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Yeah, he was in the movie.
And he's that's because he's in it minimally. He only had to remember a few lines.
Wait, you talking about this scene at the theater?
Yeah. That's a good John Cena scene, but that's because he only had to remember, a few scenes.
Wait, I seen this is like a complete like comedy based scene. Like I get Peacemaker, but the scene he was acting in was more drama, like a very serious moment. This is more like just for the bits.
His strong point is comedy. Definitely is comedy.
Yeah, he's
Very specific kind of comedy.
Is this guy ever going to shut up?
Please watch the movie.
Stop. No, it's not right. Don't do this to me.
Why is he yelling?
Listen, you always do this to me. You show up to these places, you put me in a situation. I'm a big guy. Everybody wants to fight the big
Yeah,
guy.
you are.
Hey, Mark Wahlberg, shut your bitch up.
Mark Wahlberg? Me?
Who else looks like Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg's like 150 pounds. I'm 250 lean. I look like Mark Wahlberg ate Mark Wahlberg.
Your muscles aren't the fucking problem.
Do you
It's
even
your
live?
yapping girlfriend.
Just say
Muscles ain't.
I will fuck you,
Yapping
all right?
Wahlberg.
I will enter you.
You're gonna enter me? You hear what he said?
what are you talking about right now?
I'm just not to.
You're just talking about raping him.
You're not about that life, champ. I can see it.
Oh, I am about that
Yeah,
life.
no.
I will
Like your
get
muscles.
crazy up here.
And the black guy is way better anyway.
I will make
I agree. The black guy is funnier.
Black-
I mean, because we funnier in general. What you expect?
That's probably why I like the scene.
Because the brother, shouts out to the black man, always coming in clutch. No hose barred.
I've never seen that movie.
It's actually pretty funny. I know people hate Amy Schumer, but that one is actually pretty funny.
I mean, back in 2015, that movie is kind of a big deal. I didn't watch it, but it got buzz.
Really?
It wasn't it wasn't like one of those comedies that people didn't really like check for. It was getting some buzz. But that,
I
mind
think
you, that's when Amy Schumer was like buzzing to people.
Amy Schumer, it's unfortunate because as soon as she got fat, people turned against her.
As soon as she what? Got fat?
Yeah, I swear to God, you can look exactly as the tide turned against her. When she was sexy, or like a little bit like cheeky sexy, people were still on her shit, like, and then she went and gained some weight.
Yes, it's not say I don't look. I love
the internet turned against them.
I love me some women with some meat on them, but she was like chubby, but in a cute way, and then she got even chubbier, but not in a cute way. She was chubby cute, and then she, but that's not the reason I don't like her anymore. I just don't like her anymore because she was not as funny as people hyped her up to be. She
was funny though in that that TV show Entering Amy Schumer or whatever it was called. That was funny shit. But the problem
I liked it, but when it came to like stand-up comedy, she wasn't really funny to me. She was funny.
When a woman's constantly talking about a pussy, right, and that's the joke, she better look good because it ain't gonna work.
Right.
Unfortunately, when you like, it's unfortunate. I'm sorry. That's the kind of society we live in. I'm sorry. I didn't make it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with your point. I don't agree with her getting all the hate she got, but yeah, she kind of hurt her own material. But so I wanted to also bring this up because this is a little thing, kind of blew my mind. There's a lot of people that act like this. It's related to the David Corn Sweat Superman casting.
Is his name Corn Sweat?
Corn Sweat. David Corn Sweat. I could be pronouncing it wrong, but it's David Corn Sweat.
But it might as well be Corn Sweat. If you're gonna go, no one's gonna go Corn Sweat. It's corn, like.
I think it is corn. It could be. But I never heard him say his name.
Name, bro. He must have got bullied like a fucking school, bro. Corn Swiggle. I can.
Even you call him corn swallow.
Corn starch.
Over there hating on his ass, nerd man. Shit.
No, I like him.
But you're not hating on him like the way. Look, I'm gonna be fair about this because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was less mad about this casting than Robert Pattinson getting casted for Batman.
Yeah,
that shit threw me off way more because I was like, "You fucking cast the guy for Twilight? What the fuck?"
No, man,
he was still garbage.
No, Anzo. All right, you taking it too far now, Anzo. You have my back.
He was still garbage.
He was really good casting. But here's the thing: he could play Superman as well. I'm not saying I would cast him as Superman. I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying he's that good an actor. He's so versatile, bro. He could do like nearly anything. If you watch his performances from film to film,
he ain't that good.
I'm not saying he's perfect casting. I'm saying there's certain actors who can just do anything.
He's not one of them.
Well, Nerman, I agree that he's versatile, but Superman, I don't know. I can see him playing a fully grown Nightwing, a fully grown Jason Todd, a fully grown
I could see him playing Lex Luthor.
Kyle Rayner. I
could see him playing Lex Luthor, for instance. I really could.
I don't know about that.
I could see him play Joker. I could see the dude is versatile, bro.
I can probably see Joker.
The dude is versatile.
I see him playing the unemployment line.
I see you in the unemployment line. I'm like,
what's that?
Huh?
What did you say? I didn't hear you. Say it with your chest, bro. Don't talk. Say it with your chest. That's what I thought. Pussy. That's what I thought. Pussy. Say it with your chest. Don't mumble that shit. Say it out.
David said Patterson was acceptable to me as Batman. Great. No, I don't think so. Not. Yeah, I thought he was really he shocked me. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That shit threw me off. This threw me off. But this David Corn Sweat dude, he does not throw me off as much as playing a Superman because it's mainly he pulls off that face very well. If you look at physically, Just looking at his face and the profile, perfect physical casting of a Clark Kent.
Who,
If-
Brandon
No,
Routh?
No, David.
Of a Superman. I really thought he was gonna go in a different, like a little bit of a different direct, like more of a corn-fed, like country boy look.
Husky
That's
white
what I was thinking.
husky white dude.
Yeah, a little bit, I don't know. Just, do you know what I'm saying? Just like,
I mean, Clark Kent country, but he not that country. Well,
he's country.
he is country, but he don't like. He has the country beliefs, but I'll be honest with you. If I met Clark Kent, I would probably think he grew up in a place like California or something.
Nah.
With a lot with the way he acts and stuff, like California. He grew up country, but he doesn't act really country.
Hey, did you see
He
that?
he doesn't even talk country.
Did you see that new clip of the Superman show? That looked hot.
Oh yeah, that shit look tight.
I
It's coming
didn't
out
see
this
it
week.
yet.
That shit looked hot, man.
I'll be watching that day one. That shit look good. That's the first Superman animated series since the '90s show.
They need to do more of that. They need to put out Shazams and Flashes and all of that. Because I don't know. I think some of these films failed because they haven't got the same excitement as, say, a Spider-Man, because kids love Spider-Man because there's so many Spider-Man cartoons. They're always bringing them out.
That's the exposure that's the exposure
with Batman as well. It's stupid.
Well, that's the exposure that helps, because I'm telling you, Nerdman, if you put out a Static Shock movie, a lot of people that like that TV show, they're gonna show up for that. Like Flash, while he got a TV show, and I like Grant Gustin, the problem with that TV show, they dragged it out for so long that it started to get bad over time. Maybe the first 3 seasons were good. I love the first 3 seasons. They dragged that show out for too long, and it hurt the show in itself. So.
I'm telling you, if that show was animated, it would have been a banger, bro. If they had have taken all the concepts and ideas they did for that show and just put it in an animated show, because people
would have engaged with it more.
Right. And it may not have been as big with adults, but that's not the. Flash should be like kids going to watch the Flash. Kids should be wanting to go and watch the Flash, because if you read the Flash comics, that's what they're like.
They're for kids.
They're a bit like wacky and
geared towards kids.
I think DC just they need to put more animated and not this stupid Creature Commando shit. They need to get people excited about seeing live action versions of these characters. Seeing their cartoons.
You just don't want Creature Commandos to come out because Gunn working on it.
It's nothing to
that
do
could
with
be a real. I think that's going to be a really fun animated TV show. Because that's the thing. It needs to be also a TV show that's like well written and thought out, like Justice League or Young Justice or even Static Shock. Because while those shows was fun kid shows, they also was able to throw in like life lessons in certain episodes. Like I remember with Static Shock, they had an episode dealing with gun violence, racism, homelessness, like literally an episode about homelessness and outreaching out to the homeless and helping them, homeless children. It had tons of episodes about life lessons, right? It didn't take away from the superhero aspect, but it had those moments that you need to really make those shows memorable. Creature Commandos, just like many DC animated products, have found a way to throw life lessons in them to, get people to gravitate to it and like hold on to it and remember that specific stuff. If it does stuff like that, and same thing for the Superman show, I hope it does stuff like that too. Like has an episode that really touches on something that, gets a lot of people to go like, glad the show touched upon it. I agree with it. Boom. Guns are bad. I agree. It needs stuff like that. Because those are the most memorable animated shows to me in general, when shows touch upon stuff like that, even adult stuff that adults are afraid to talk about, but they present it in a way that's digestible for kids. Shit, they had an episode where they dealt with fucking dyslexia in Static Shock. They made it a whole freaking bit with the character Rubber Band Man, and he was dyslexic, and he was trying to disarm a bomb. and he remembered some of the stuff that Static taught him to help him get past his dyslexia, and he was able to disarm the bomb by doing that.
Who's dyslexic? Enzo?
No, you.
What a comeback.
Well, you're retarded. Not dyslexic. You're retarded. I made a mistake. Sorry.
So what are we talking about now?
But nah, I mean, look, I'll just say this: as far as a Superman fan, I'm eating good. Got Superman casting. Got Superman TV show dropping this week. Superman Lois season 3 ended on a big ass fucking banger. Shit, as a Superman fan, I'm eating good right now. So Batman fans, I don't know what y'all got. Batman.
I don't know how it is. Superman and Lois can be 10 times better than anything they did in the movies.
That's actually not true.
Yes, it is.
Love and care. That's the thing. Love and care. Just love and care into your product, and boom.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods is better than that show. Every episode.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You are
and
out of your mind.
And it's better than every MCU TV show as well.
Of course.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Of course it is. No, it is not true. Not true at all. 100%. Shazam was absolute fucking garbage. The Flash was garbage. And we didn't even get to the box office results, Kate. I might as well move to that one too, so I can track
box office results. We got to talk about the box office results.
Box office results. Let's get to that.
About that.
All right, let's talk about that. Let's do this. Let's do something fun. Bring up every MCU movie, and we're gonna put which one Shazam! Fury of the Gods and Flash is better than. Let's just bring them all up. Bring them all up.
All right, wait. Let me get into this. All right, guys, we're about to jump into the Flash topic. So, the Flash box office run is officially over with.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't give in to his bullshit.
No. Wait. But when I say this, this isn't me shitting on the movie, right?
Yeah, it's
because I love the movie. I thought the movie was good.
Made $500 million. The run is over and it's done $500 million. That's okay.
No, it has not. Not even close.
It did. It did like 500 million.
Let me see. Bring it up, you lying bastards. Bring it up.
It did 660 million.
Liars. Bring it up.
They didn't update. They didn't update the numbers yet. The numbers that worldwide is not updated
45. Yet. It didn't even beat fucking Rise of the Beast.
It's not updated yet.
That is our opinion, and we are entitled to it. That's the modern world for you.
Mm-hmm.
So look, you guys, Flash didn't deserve to fail. Let me make that clear.
It didn't deserve to fail. Absolutely, it did.
No,
absolutely did. For three reasons.
Barry Allen was solid as a character.
No. It was supposed to fail for 3 reasons. 1, Ezra Miller is a groomer and child abuser, so that's 1. 2, James Gunn has pretty much destroyed the universe, so nobody cares. And 3 and final, which is the most important, it's a DCEU film. It's a DC movie. There are your 3 reasons why it failed.
All right, I'm going to do this now. I'm bringing up a tier list.
Oh my God! See, Anzo, you some fans, man.
I'm speaking facts.
Anzo was just saying, "Hey, I don't believe with the grooming allegations." Then use that shit against Ezra Miller.
Well, I mean,
individual.
That's what most normies will know. They'll see he's a groomer. I ain't going to see that.
I'm not going to deny that all that stuff did hurt this movie, but in no way does it make it a bad movie. Those are all outside factors that hurt the film. Now, the CGI for sure can hurt the movie because that's within it. But as far as the DCU brand, that's the thing that just carried over from other films. Because this film is actually better than a lot of the films in the DCU.
Well, let's be real, K-Dot. Let's be real. The real reason why it failed is because it had DC at the beginning of the movie.
Nah.
Let's just be facts. You know what I mean?
Oh, if it was an MCU
Why-
movie, I would went to go see it. If it said Marvel Studios on it, the
Stop going
Flash.
and seeing MCU movies, bro. You've got to
What's
stop
that?
doing that. They don't go and see our movies. They're trash. Anyway, I'm gonna bring this up.
He ain't wrong last night. Yeah, I'm not saying it was. You know, you guys, I'm telling you, they should just reboot it at Justice League 2017. Shit.
No, what they should have done
Never
is just
drag that
bring
shit
out.
out.
Should have bring
You
out
see-
Snyder's movies 1 and 2, and shut those idiots up. And maybe some of them would have come to see the other films.
You see, here's
After
what
they
we.
brought out the Snyder Cut, they should have just kowtowed and just brought out Justice League 2 and 3.
Well, here's what we've said a
Seriously.
lot, and I think you can agree with this. Just having the Marvel name on a movie kind of guarantees you about $500 million, right? But just having the DC name on a movie kind of takes $500 million away from the
Joker and
studio.
the Batman.
You know what I mean?
Joker and the Batman was box
true.
office effective than they are
Really
DC.
true. And it comes from that stupid decision to not do Justice League 2 and 3. He could have kept those actors just for that and called that an alternate world like the Batman, and then had your other DC universe where they were doing their own thing. They should have done that. That's a business decision. All right, so let's start with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Worse.
Wait, don't we get to vote, or are you just picking? Huh? Is this just your opinion, or do we get a vote?
I mean, it's all our opinion, but Nerdman is
Okay.
just,
So
speaking.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is better than Shazam.
Oh, hell nah.
Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp is better than Shazam. Ant-Man and the Wasp is better than the Flash.
Oh, wait, Nerdman. I don't agree with that with that first Avenger take. You gotta. It's not better than Shazam, but it ain't worse than both of them. Shit.
So here's what I will say. The only movies that those two movies are better than, I would say, is Eternals. Well, 3 movies: Eternals, Ragnarok, and Love and Blunder. Those are the only movies that's better.
They're better than Captain Marvel. They're better than Far From Home. They're definitely better than Far From Home. That Far From Home shit. Whew. Far From Home was so bad it made me like Homecoming even more.
You are mistaking, my friend. Mistaken. 100%.
You know, Far From Home bad. It ain't even better than No Way Home. It's not even better than Homecoming.
Yes, it is.
You think it's better than Homecoming?
Yeah,
we're still sharing this.
Yeah, you're still sharing it, but nobody cares about your opinion because it's biased.
Good.
Fernand, it is peak tier list. Nerdman is just whoa, Nerdman. Hey, you gotta rank in Black Panther kind of low. Shit. Oh my gosh.
I'm considering each one on its merit. So Thor, absolute trash. Thor Ragnarok, complete trash. Avengers,
share the screen.
Maybe as good as Shazam.
Oh my god.
WandaVision.
Okay, I agree with that. Avengers 1 is better. It's up there.
Loki.
Whoa. Falcon and Soldier is actually good. That's the best MCU show, Nerdman. That's the best.
If you guys want to see a ranking that like is absolutely biased and makes no sense whatsoever, just look at Nerdman's shit there. Because
Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, definitely worse than the Flash.
Wait, but Hanzo, you seriously think Far From Home is better than Homecoming?
Yeah, Far From Home with Mysterio.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh hell no. Nah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, it's better. It's better.
I don't know, man. I couldn't do Peter Parker in that movie. I think he was progressively worse as a character in that than Homecoming and No Way Home. No Way Home and Homecoming, he was a lot better. But
you see, I think Mysterio was a better villain than Michael Keaton's villain.
I agree with that.
Mysterio was not a villain than Michael Keaton's villain.
Well, like Keaton had one good scene. It's just a Vulture in general was
And this
under.
is a definitive list right here of every MCU movie that is worse than The Flash.
I don't know, nerd man. I have to rethink Multiverse of Madness. I don't think that's not better than Shazam 1.
Wait. Punisher.
That Wanda stuff kind of ruins that movie.
Attorney of Trash should be here as well. I Am on Crack should be here as well. This dumb shit right here.
Looking at all that, Marvel got a lot of box office hits.
Yes.
Man, Ant-Man 3 failed in the box office. Let's not forget that.
Oof. All of this crap. These are all damaged goods. The fact that the world has celebrated these movies is why the world, you can see, is coming to an end. This is where they belong, in the garbage, all of them. These are the good ones, not made by the MCU or Kevin Feige. They're all garbage. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that was clear for everyone.
I mean, hey, I'll give you this. I appreciate you putting the Spider-Man movies over The Flash. I appreciate that. You can put Spider-Man 3 over The Flash.
Perfect tier list, bro.
No, it's really not.
I agree with this tier list stuff. It's kind
Of course you do.
It's kind of on point.
Of course you agree with it. Why wouldn't you?
There's some
those ones at the bottom.
There's three things there's three things Nerman put in the bottom that I don't agree with, but for the most part, he ain't lying.
Absolutely, he's lying. 100%.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's full of shit.
I'll give you Guardians 3.
Guardians 3 what?
As good as Shazam.
It's better.
Wait. Nerdman, real quick, let me show you something. This is why you don't release Justice League. Nerdman, real quick. This is why you don't release Justice League 2 and 3. Because of fans like this. This is why you don't release that shit.
But these people wouldn't have turned into idiots like this if it wasn't for that.
But look at this. They're at the point where they're complaining about the character looking like the character.
Back home in their grandma's basement, like just looking up over every single image of what's happening in the casting and we would have got rid of them. They would have been completely obsessed with Snyder and what he's doing. And maybe
because look, if
some of them wouldn't have gone in biased to the Batman, so that the Batman didn't do as good as it should have. Maybe some of them wouldn't have gone in biased to Shazam 2, so that might have made a little bit more money. The same with Flash. It was a massive, huge, and I'll be honest, I didn't even know how huge a mistake it was. I thought, for the most part, vocal minority. I really did. They are not a vocal minority, my friend. They are a lot of
people. No. I don't think they are the people that I still think there's the general audience, there's DC fans, Snyder fans. I think the general
are a vocal minority.
The general audience itself are not going. Like the general people that just casually watch this stuff. The Snyder fans is still just a small portion. Same as DC fans. We're still a small portion compared to the general audience.
Those movies, DC was making 800 million a movie each. That was repeat viewings.
But they was being met with that bad reception too from fans and critics.
Zack Snyder's Justice League wasn't met with bad reception.
No, but that
was
going down though.
Dude, don't get me don't think I'm some Snyder fan or whatever. I'm talking
we know you're not. But Nerman, we have to look at when that
it was Snyderverse, even if it meant getting a new director with Zack Snyder on board somehow. They should have continued that story
with a Dark Side coming versus the Justice League.
Agreed, Murdoch. Look, the Snyder Cut is a better cut movie than Justice League 2017, but you gave them the Snyder Cut. It was originally released the Snyder Cut. We just want the Snyder Cut. Restore the Snyderverse. And then when you restore the Snyderverse, give them Justice League 2 and 3, then they're going to ask for Justice League 4, Zack Snyder's Justice League 5, Zack Snyder's Booster Gold, Zack Snyder's Shazam, Zack Snyder's Superman. Like, they're just going to keep asking for more and more. Like, these.
I don't think they would have. I really don't. I know what you're saying, and I get that.
I think they
philosophy, but I don't think they would have. I think that would have shut up a hell of a lot of them. A lot of them. And some of them aren't even that the bad guys. Some of them, actually
they're all bad.
Like
Vishan's literally a Snyder fan, and he's a good dude.
They literally.
Well, he's not a Snyder shill, but he's a fan, and he's a good dude.
They are shrouding DC with negativity online.
I agree.
And it's Snyder fucking guys. As well as MCU guys who always hate anything DC does anyway. Like this little MCU street rap like underneath us. But
it's funny because I don't hate everything DC does, but most of it is garbage. Like,
never mind. Let me just give you another. This is why. Look, I understand. Yes. Look, Snyder Cut. I definitely understand that releasing as it was, because even I signed the first petition to release that because I was like, it's pretty much already done. Just release the shit. Like, there was no reason to release Whedon's version anyways, because
wow, major revelation right here.
Yeah,
wow.
I did. Back in 2017, I signed that shit because the movie we got, it was no reason to do all that shit. Just release. I always had the thought, just release Zack's version back in 2017 and move on if you want to move on. I was down with moving on, but it's clear they wanted to move on. It was no reason to waste.
It doesn't matter if they wanted to move on. There's too much negativity surrounding it. They should have just released it. Honestly, I think they should have released it in cinemas. Like, quite frankly, I think they should have released that shit in cinemas.
I agree.
But see, also, Snyder fans don't want a Justice League movie that's not directed by Zack Snyder. The point of Zack Snyder Justice League 2 and 3 is for it to be directed by Zack Snyder.
If they had have released it in cinemas and it bombed, it would have been better for them, because at least then you could have shut these Snyder guys up by saying, look, they released it in cinemas and it flopped, so why are they going to do 2 and 3? Why didn't you turn up to watch it? Like, at least you could have kept that against them.
Look, Nerman, this is the thing with these specific people that boycotting movies, right? Look, I supported Zack, even though I did not like Zack Snyder's Justice League. I supported that movie twice financially. Watched it on Max, well, HBO Max. Just BVS. I didn't like that movie. I showed up to theaters twice to see that movie.
I went 4 times. See that?
But I showed up to these people. Look, these people claiming to be fans of DC. I get it. Like, I'm not saying just go support anything. I even supported Birds of Prey. I had doubts of Birds of Prey going in, and I was right that that movie was trash. But I still went to go support it. I had heavy doubts.
Movie I've seen once in cinema.
I only seen it once because I was not trying to go watch that Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. That was stupid. They should never done that. But these people claim to be DC fans, right? And they're not going to go support some DC movies. I'm not, look, I don't read all comics, but I support some comics, right? I'm not, but I'm not going
to. Do you realize they've killed characters I love in the cinemas? They've killed them dead. The one good thing about the Flash flopping is that hopefully they'll realize it's because of the gangrene leg that they left by how they handled the whole Snyder situation. And that's why all these movies are flopping. That's my only hope. Because in the end of the day...
Well, hopefully it's us know not to put Ezra Miller in the DCU because you're just going to ruin your brand.
We're never going to see any cinematic or TV thing of Shazam again as it stands. we may never see a Flash movie again as it stands. This is terrible for DC fans.
We're going to see another Flash movie in the DCU.
I don't think so.
It depends on Superman Legacy's reception, though. This is the thing, right? This is the thing.
You're going to see Superman Legacy. That might flop too, bro. That might flop.
Well, okay. Well, okay.
Might flop.
No. This is the thing, because everyone's saying it. If James Gunn is the reason that the DCU is failing because everybody's excited for his new upcoming thing and they're not wasting time with these because they're ready to get on the gun, that means these people should be going to Superman Legacy. I mean, because look, if the theory that James Gunn ruined these movies is that people are not watching them because they're just waiting it out until Gunn's universe starts,
dude,
they're gonna turn off for Superman Legacy. I mean, that's it. That's
DC's too dark. DC's too dark. It scared my children. Please make it lighter. Did they turn up to see the lighter-hearted movies? No. This is just stop it with that shit. The DC brand is hurt bad, and I'll be very, very surprised if Superman Legacy does anything to dent that. I hope it does, because I'm a DC fan and I'm going to see it multiple times in cinemas, just like I saw The Flash. But I
believe look.
I think you're deluding.
I'm no gun head, but I got faith that it will.
I think
it will,
bro. And you know what? I think
because the DCEU is what's tainted. Look,
I think Shazam 2 made as much as The Flash, and I'll tell you why. Because in Europe, and specifically Czech Republic, but I believe this was true in Europe as well, it didn't even get IMAX screenings.
No.
It didn't get IMAX screenings. Shazam 1 didn't get IMAX screenings, and Shazam 2 didn't get IMAX screenings. Stands now, Shazam 1 made more than The Flash. It made more than a movie with Flash and the Batman in it.
Yeah.
So,
or maybe it's because Shazam 1 isn't as good as you guys thought it was, and people didn't really care about the second one.
Because, dude, if that was true, none of the MCU movies would have made money because they're all trash. Should we refer back to my tier listing, which is actually definitive, scientifically proven to be right?
Yeah, of course. But you see, the difference between the MCU is that they've built up this connectivity where it's like, oh, you gotta see this movie, you know what I mean? So most people are still going to see those movies, but DC, they never really
they had a lot of disconnected stuff because you barely have a Superman popping up. You have him pop up in Black Adam. He hasn't popped up since Justice League 2017. Wonder Woman is here and there. She's the most consistent cameo out of all of them. Ben Affleck's Batman is barely in it. He showed last time we technically see him is The Flash, and before that it was Justice League 2017.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, what they need to do is start big. If they want to show a universe, an expansive universe in that first Superman Legacy movie.
We'll see that. So, that's what I mean. That's what Gunn's doing. I mean, they kind of starting like in the middle because he said so. He already said they're not doing the origin, so they're not revisiting his past and shit. It's going to be Superman, present day, no revisiting of his origin, going back to his past, all that shit. Superman as he is from jump.
Well, that's good.
You see, that's a big mistake too. Well, not the origin part, right? But I mean, oh, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say.
You said it was a big mistake. That they're not starting from early on.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. What the big mistake is they keep doing, like, you know, we have Batman from another world, then you have the Joker from another world. You know what I mean? And the normies are getting confused. Wait, this isn't connected to that. We have a Joker there and that. I think what they should do is establish their universe first, and then if they want to do the elsewhere stuff, you do that stuff too. But I think it's just people are just like, DC doesn't know what they're doing, so why am I invested? You know what I mean?
I don't know why you have to be invested in more than just a movie.
I think you should be. That's the philosophy that I hate that the MCU has brought out. Like, just because it's not gonna, if a movie's entertaining, it's entertaining.
I
You know,
agree.
these superhero movies. You get like a superhero, you get like a bad guy. They face the bad guy in some kind of, broadly speaking, entertaining way, and that's it. You
Yeah,
know,
even
so
even I now this is the thing, right? Because I agree with both of y'all takes. Honestly, I don't think if you're gonna do a cinematic universe, you need to have an established connectivity that's guaranteed. Even the Justice Show did it, but also you should be able to go into each movie and watch them on their own, and judge them for what they are. But DC tried to do a cinematic universe, and they really didn't cinematically connect like they should. Because someone put out this concept. Because
y'all were calling for them to abandon the Snyderverse, when really, right after Zack Snyder's Justice League went off, it could have easily just continued that storyline.
No, I'm talking about from the start. They had.
No, I don't think anybody was.
Look at Iron Man 1, right? It didn't do a lot of big connectivity, but we remember that first post-credit scene in Iron Man 1. What did it do? Introduce Nick Fury to start setting up the Avengers.
Okay, good. So what did they do in Superman and Man of Steel and BVS?
And BVS, well, Man of Steel, BVS is what started connecting it. Man of Steel, we didn't know if there was going to be a sequel. I didn't know there was going to be a sequel. I thought that was just
Wayne Enterprises. You saw Wayne Enterprises in Man of Steel when he's fighting in space.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't really mean okay. It's like the Raimi trilogy, right? They mentioned Doctor Strange. That doesn't mean Doctor Strange is going to show up, but we know there's a Doctor Strange in that world. J. Jonah Jameson mentioned Doctor Strange's name.
BVS did it. BVS is when it started becoming disconnected and all weird. Because actually, even Suicide Squad 2017 had more connectivity until they went in and re-edited and reshuffled shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Suicide Squad 2016 connectivity
was supposed to appear in Suicide Squad 2017, right?
Who?
Yeah, he was originally supposed to appear.
Who was supposed to appear? Oh, wow.
So there was a connectivity there. And there could have still been they could have regained that connectivity, even though they did all these dumb projects like Harley Quinn and.
But see, when I say because this is what I think Man of Steel should have done, which would have been very different from the way Iron Man 1 did it, right? The way Iron Man 1 started his connectivity was introducing Nick Fury in the post-credit scene. What Man of Steel could have done, and Nerdman, I believe is that Zack Snyder saw this theory online and then later implemented it. But they had Manhunter in Man of Steel, right? I'm not saying Manhunter needs to come in here and one shot all the Kryptonians, but just imagine Superman's fighting these Kryptonians, then Manhunter, who's the general pretending to, he's just trying to see what makes Superman tick, comes out to help him. Box office, boom, 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 would have shot up past 600 million. I'm not saying a billion, but that box office would have went up. You had Superman and Manhunter fighting together, and then you establish some connectivity. Because someone put out a tweet saying, and this is why I agree with, people don't really care about people just like seeing characters interact. Remember when Infinity War was coming out, people was just literally theorizing, man, how is Iron Man going to talk to Doctor Strange? Like just how they're going to interact itself. Not really like surface level connectivity.
Ice cream. Yeah, it was great.
But DC didn't even, we had it in Justice League, yes, because that's a big movie. But just seeing characters interact is what people really like to see. Like even when I was watching Justice League animated, I love just seeing Supergirl popping up in the Justice League show to come do a mission on one episode, right? So it's like surface level connections, but it was the stuff we wanted to see. It's just like the comics, you have some characters popping in from here and there. They may not really mean too much, but it's good to see Flash meet up with Superman.
they put on the gas way too fast on their universe. That I agree.
I agree with that too.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And they made some mistakes because they didn't wait to see the reception of different characters.
Absolutely.
And so they know what to do with the different characters.
But that's what I've said before, right? Because I said Marvel has done. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I would have just said two things could have really helped the universe. It could have been redeemed. If Wonder Woman 84 wasn't a load of old garbage because she was the most popular character, and if they had have like treated her with respect and made sure that was tight, a lot of people who weren't even DC fans liked Wonder Woman and watched that.
They would engage with that.
When they all watched that, because all of us were at home, had nothing to do. When they all started turning that on, half of them stopped halfway through because it was garbage.
Well, what I was saying was Marvel hasn't had bangers in the first season, right? In their first phase. Like they've had some really bad movies, but they stuck to their guns. And that's what DC should have did. They shouldn't have panicked. They shouldn't have said, oh no, we got to change this. We got to reboot this. No, they should have stuck to their guns and just made better movies. You know what I mean? Keep everything connected, but you could just make a few little tweaks and say, okay, that's what Marvel did. Because that first phase of movies basically wasn't as jokey as it is now. If you go back and watch a lot of those movies, it wasn't as jokey as it is. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It started with Guardians of the Galaxy. There were jokes in it, but I'm talking about the Marvel formula. Didn't start till about Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers.
Yeah, that stuff didn't start until Avengers.
Iron Man.
It was very much like each of them was like Thor 1, even though it wasn't that good visually and aesthetically, that had a different style visually with the cinematography than Captain America 1.
Captain America 1 and Iron Man 1 are the only really good ones in that first phase, apart from Avengers. The rest of it, what else came out? It was Iron Man, Hulk,
Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Thor 1,
good,
Captain America 1, and Avengers
was at best okay. I really don't think it was good. I don't think they should make a movie of it. Thor 1. I didn't like
Thor was the best Thor movie.
Thor was garbage. That doesn't say much that it was the best Thor movie. So it was just all right.
No, it says a lot. It went downhill after that.
Iron Man 1, good movie in terms of like it was unexpected. You know, it was the first one to really like superhero movie to really inject a lot of humor into it. So it was a little bit, you know, especially after the Dark Knight and Batman Begins and all of that. That was nice. It was very poppy and blah blah blah. And then Captain America 1, I didn't like it at the time. But looking back at it, it has some merits. And I still hate what they did with Red Skull, but it has some merits. And it's fairly enjoyable. Then Avengers 1 is really good. Really good movie. Nothing, like, hardly any complaints. It's not, I don't know why people rewatch it as much as they do. Because I think it's, you pretty much get out of it in the first viewing or the second viewing. I think it's better on the big screen than it is on the small screen, basically. But good movie. And Onzo is absolutely correct. They stuck to their guns. But people were also supporting them sticking to their guns. Whereas DC was getting hated way too much for just making, you know, their first movies. And it's like, there's such a thing as constructive criticism, and then there's just plain hate. And it was getting plain hate.
And
it's just like, I'm sorry, even Batman v Superman, which I don't, you know, I have some bits that I like about it. I have some other things, some issues with it, especially its treatment of Superman. It still has merits to it, where I'm like, at least it had balls. At least it swung for the fences. At least it tried something different. You know, like, so I respect aspects of it. And people weren't even, they were going on like it was Batman and Robin. And it wasn't.
Look, Nerman, over Civil War, I'll give BVS his credit for this. It is better visually. The cinematography is way better.
Score's good.
Score is good. Score is better than Civil War.
Good.
I'm gonna head out, guys. Thanks for having me.
The action's okay between both those films.
Peace out.
They both have peace on.
Peace.
They both have one like epic action scene, and then the rest of the action in the movies are like, meh.
No, the action scene, even the one with Doomsday, where I don't like how Doomsday looks. That action scene's tight.
That one should have been the most epic, but that was epic because of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was the best thing about that scene.
So,
but that's my issue with the scene. So it's be a collective, Trinity scene where they both.
Superman did what he would have done. The only thing I don't like.
My issue with the Doomsday fight is just like the Black Adam fight with Sabak. That shit was too fucking short. That shit was short.
Watch that. Just put.
It's not a bad fight. Don't get me. It's not a bad fight. That fight is short as fuck.
Fight, bro. That is a tight ass fight. And honestly, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that looked really like. And then the Batmobile chase. I know he's killing people. But it is.
It was a nice, well-directed action scene. But see, that's the thing. The Batman scenes in BVS is probably the best action scenes in the movie. The warehouse scene is not the most grand, but it's the best action scene in the movie.
And also, it is an interesting idea. Like, how would the world react if Superman came into the world? So that aspect of the story I enjoyed. I just didn't like how Superman was responding to it.
Yeah.
So when they were all talking about the implications of Superman and all of that kind of stuff, I thought that was interesting. So I don't think that movie is. Batman.
It had an interesting concept.
It was worse. It was as bad as Batman and Robin, and I'm like,
It's not Batman and Robin bad. It's not that bad. It's better than Captain Marvel. It's better than the worst MCU. It's better than some of the good ones. But like for a DC movie in general, I don't even got it up there with V for Vendetta or even Watchmen. It's not even on Watchmen level.
It's not on V for Vendetta level. No, absolutely not.
It is not sniffing. It's not even sniffing 300's ass, and that's a comic book movie, and I like it.
It's better than 300. It's better than 300.
Hater.
I would watch that over 300. I did. I mean, it's medium. And the only things that really make it medium for me are more like fanboy things. It's more like, I'm not really sure about your Lex Luthor. I'm not really sure about how you're portraying Superman. It's not actually the story itself. It's like
I never really went into Nerman, but I think my other issue with Batman in the movie is how his intelligence is portrayed as a Batman. Because one thing I for sure get in BVS is what he was trying to go for with Batman. Batman's at fallen, he's lost his way, and he's stuck in a dark place. And, this film is going to show how he's going to get back to his old self, right?
Yeah.
What I hated about Batman in BVS is that, yes, if Batman's going to stick to doing something, for example, if he's not going to kill his villains, he's going to be very consistent about that for the most part. A lot of people won't agree with what his methods, but he's going to be consistent. If Batman's going to kill, he's going to consistently kill. But that's not the issue with it. When Lex was trying to frame Superman throughout the movie, which I thought was okay, the stuff he framed Superman with, I was like, okay. But Batman himself would have investigated that stuff and even realized himself, like, Superman didn't burn these bodies. There's bullets in here. These people died and then they were set on fire. These people were shot first and then they were set on fire. Like, he
was all secondhand reports and he was just taking it as Bible, and that doesn't seem very Batman.
Right, and that was my issue. I was like, dude, I get it. You don't like Superman, but even if Batman doesn't like somebody, he doesn't like Joker, but he's gonna do proper investigation to figure out if Joker committed this specific crime. Like, I get it. You don't like what Superman did, and you're afraid of what he could be. But why would you do proper detective work with Joker but not the guy who literally fought an alien that tried to destroy your planet. I
Right.
get it. He lost his way, but
I thought it was so forced that they were trying to get Batman and Superman against each other. It made no sense. And
Right.
to me, that's the failure of the movie. It's not that it's not entertaining to watch. It's just,
it does have its entertaining part.
I don't buy it. Like I don't buy that Batman is against Superman or Superman against Bat, and everything like around that I'm okay with. It's I mean it's
Well, yeah,
kind of
and that thing too, like Superman wasn't invested in fighting Batman like that. Superman was not invested.
Shazam movie, right?
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, Billy Batson doesn't, act like Shazam, and I'm like, okay, but they're two entertaining characters, so I don't really, could it have been done better if they were? Yeah, but the rest of the Shazam family act like their younger selves, so.
Okay, let me get the big man's comment real quick. Okay,
hold something the film too much sometimes. I'm like, films aren't meant to be flawless,
Right. But see, let me get the Vish Hands comment because I want to. In the Batman with Robert Pattinson, right? Riddler, for the most part, executed his plan and pretty much won. Now, Batman won the people's favor, right? That's what he won at the end of it. He won the people's favor. He won their respect by pushing as hard as he did to stick there with him, help them out. He's carrying people to the helicopters they can get hoisted up. A younger Batman, that totally makes sense why Riddler like totally duped him. He's 2 years in, he's fresh. A 20-year Batman at this point, I get it. He lost his way, but even Batman is still going to have a consistency. He's going to still do his detective work. He's still going to look into things. Like I guarantee it. The first scene in the movie, when Batman was trying to figure out where those human traffickers was at, who was trafficking those women, I guarantee he did investigation work to figure out where those women was at, what's the start of this trafficking ring, and still locked this person up. He branded him, which is fine. I understand it's part of him going down
that road. But that branding bothered me. That was too.
It bothered me too. But the point is, I guarantee Batman did investigative work to figure out where the human traffickers was at, freed those girls, all that. But a 20-year Batman should be like a peak detective. Robert Pattinson Batman being, kind of iffy with his detective work in year 2, I totally understand. You're still fresh into it. You're not going to be perfect. The 20-year Batman should be like, boom. Because Lex easily duped him. I'm sorry. Lex easily duped Batman in BVS, and Batman didn't even really try to figure out, like, that he was being played. He did not know he was being played the whole time. Superman had to tell him he was being played by Lex.
Well, okay. I mean, that aside, I'm not trying to minimalize that, but what I'll say is that to me, it went beyond that. I feel like the movie could have had conflict between Superman and Batman. I understood all of the conflict in it. I just didn't understand why they ended up fighting each other. That's when it got to that bit, because I could understand him being, like paranoid about Superman and like the whole way through the movie, I got it. But as soon as he stepped in an arena to fight Superman, that's when it lost me. Because I feel like that was forced. Whereas the rest of it, I'm like, okay, he's dealing with an alien that he's never seen before. Batman is like kind of,
xenophobic.
No, he's not xenophobic. I think he's cautionary. He's like he's somebody.
Well, remember in the first episode of Justice Animated, and I'm just using that for example, but he did this in the World's Finest crossover they did. Remember when he was very skeptical about John Jones? Marsh Manor, he was like he didn't really trust him.
Yeah, what was the word I was looking for? Yeah, go on.
Like he was very hesitant, and I think it was a little bit of like, not say he hated aliens, but it felt like it was a little bit of like, okay, you like Superman, why are you tripping about this alien here? Because Superman alien too, right? But Superman looks like a human, you know, so everyone's going to identify with him a little bit more than Martian Manhunter, who looks like some freak of nature from another planet, right? But he still earned him and Martian Manhunter, you know, they started to become more friends over time. But when he first met him, he was very cautionary. It's like a little bit of fear of Manhunter inside of Batman when he saw him.
I feel like this is really how I feel like they should have just skipped that fight. If they had skipped the fight, I would have understood almost all of this version of Batman's behavior.
Yeah.
Like, they could have just skipped the fight and just saved that for a different film.
Agreed. Like, and it's the thing, because the concept that the Batman they use, like, this is heavily based off Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Yeah.
That's not the Batman you use at this moment. I understand. I'm not trying to say it need to be fully comic accurate, you know, where the Justice League fell apart and stuff. Like, you could have had this at some point in a DC universe. Not saying you can't, but not this soon, you know, because you're working backwards, not forwards with this type of arc. You can't do Death of Superman when Superman is at like year 2. That's not when that story happened. It happens like later down the line. It doesn't have to be year 10 or 11 when he's Superman, but it doesn't happen when he's in year 2.
Did you? I've told you about this already, I think, but the original plan was to have that dude who gets his legs cut off become Metallo. That would have been perfect. That would have been absolutely perfect.
Because you would have perfect setup. He'll blame Superman for all the destruction, and he's trying to get revenge on him. You know, he lost his legs due to the violence,
and then basically Lex Luthor uses Kryptonian technology to turn him into, you know, that thing. So he's too advanced for Batman to fight, and he's got kryptonite, so he's fucking up Superman. And then Wonder Woman comes in last minute, slashes him up, and then we call it a day. Trinity kind of.
Well, okay. I think with that concept, take out Wonder Woman. You could just absolutely have just be Batman and Superman, and they both could have fought Metallo in a way, because Superman can't physically, you know, combat kryptonite too much. It weakens him. But where Superman can't take the jabs, Batman can come in and go boom. Because Metallo, he's powerful, but he's only powerful against Superman because of kryptonite. He's really not like mega level, like, you know, Brainiac.
Batman can't just knock him out.
I'm not saying Batman can knock him out, but Batman could wear a super suit like he had in the movie, a mech suit, to combat him too. But kryptonite doesn't weaken Batman. Like, they both could have tag teamed it in a way. Superman and Batman tag teaming Metallo, and it still be like a world's finest movie.
Sure, I still think you could have.
Because if you bring in Wonder Woman, she's gonna straight up like murder. That's overkill at that point. That's like overkill. You got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman fighting Metallo.
They brought Doomsday because they couldn't figure out how to get Metallo to fight
Wonder Woman.
Because it's like Wonder Woman's just gonna slash him up. There's nothing. Either you nerf Wonder Woman to the point that she's just trash, or you know, but I still think it could have been like a real last minute thing, not like how much of like Batman and Superman have basically defeated him, but then he gets one more like burst of whatever and comes after them, and Wonder Woman just comes in and just like finishes him off. I really think that could have worked, just to set up the Trinity. Just to give people a taster of Wonder Woman, not like her being all up there in the battle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But Nerman, real quick, because, you know, while I like this I don't think this is one of the best fights. I like the fight. I think it's choreographed in an interesting way. My issue with this fight, and I do agree with you. Superman does not really have any drive, or we know he does not want to come here to fight Batman, like really fight him. In the Dark Knight Returns, right? Superman was invested to fight Batman because Superman at that point was a government lapdog. He was following the government's orders, and he was just strict. He invested himself into it, agreed with the government's ways, and was like, Batman is doing wrong, and I'm going to go out there and stop him from doing it. He had a huge investment to that fight. This fight here, he really didn't want to fight Batman, and he instigates the fight too. Like, he literally instigates it some more when he could have just literally took his pinky, shoved Batman on the ground, and forced him to listen.
The problem with this fight as well, it's not Batman v Superman. It's Superman essentially just taking it easy on Batman. And to be honest, it's a problem that I have with most Batman Superman fights, even in the comics. I'm like, I never really see Superman going full on like against Batman. So it's like, it's not like Batman's really winning. Even in the supposed Batman, the Dark Knight Returns, Superman's really taking it easy on Batman, even in that fight.
In my opinion, I think this is based off New 52 stuff, but this is probably the best Superman versus Batman encounter I've seen, because this is how the fight should always go. Superman's straight up making Batman look like a joke. Like, this is how I wanted BVS to go. Superman just basically making Batman, not making cucking Batman, but showing like, hey, Batman can't deal with me. They was legitimately freaking scared of Superman. Look at them; they can't deal with him. They was running scared in BVS. I get it, yeah, kryptonite.
I think that, to me, I like the idea of Batman taking on Superman and being able to win. I just want them to do it in a really cool way. Like, one of the best ways I saw was actually, it was actually in Injustice, the animated movie, where he takes on Superman, and he makes a plan where the atom goes in Superman's ear with kryptonite.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that scene.
That was clever. That's like, I want him to have like some kind of plans like that, not just come up to Superman like straight up. Like, when I first heard the idea of Batman v Superman, I figured what Zack Snyder was going to do is not have him in some mech suit. I thought he was going to create like a whole big trap for Superman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Superman comes in and he's like, it's like a big kind of maze that he has to go through to get to Batman even. And Batman's just constantly, so that's what I want to see of a Batman versus Superman fight. There's other ones, I can't really remember them now, but like, there's been other times when I've seen that somebody's really got Batman to do something clever, something a little bit out of the box to beat Superman, and I don't mind that.
But and I think in this fight, while I think it looks cool, it's just two things happen in the scene to where Superman instigating the fight, which was weird. Yes, I understand he's in the moment. He's trying to look for his mom, but like, he's trying to come in here, take this peaceful route to talk, and then he immediately uses violence to try and make Batman see reason, but that you're just gonna piss him off even more. So you're trying to get him you're trying to reason with him, but you're literally threatening him while trying to reason.
Doesn't make any sense.
And then in this fight, where I think you downplay Superman a bit, this scene right here, where he just stands there and holds the kryptonite grenade for like a couple seconds, and like, he literally just let himself get gassed. Like, I get it, he's OP. He's like, oh, I'm gonna just take you, but like, come on, you don't have to downplay his ability. That's why I think the Justice League War encounter, and I don't disagree with you. I think your way of Batman doing something like getting the Atom to go in his ear, put Kryptonite in there to, trip him up. Great. That's what Batman would do, right? But I don't know. It was just so much wrong with the setup of this fight. It's not a bad choreographed fight at all, guys. I think this fight visually looks better than the airport fight in Civil War, right? I think the final fight between Tony and Cap was way more intense than this fight here because of what's going on. There are reasons for fighting. Tony's invested the fight because Bucky killed my mom, right? He doesn't care. He just wants to kill him. Like, you killed my mom, I'm taking you down. Mm-hmm. And Cap's trying to keep Tony from killing his friend. He doesn't want them both to fight, but he's like stuck between a rock and a hard place. Their fight, the build up, the investment to it, yeah. And you guys know, I think both BVS and Civil War got their fair share of issues. They do have their fair share of issues. A lot of issues Civil War has, people will be biased about with BVS and downplay BVS for it.
No,
but even BVS
issues, bro. I don't.
No, I don't disagree with it. It does have issues, but what I'm saying is the issue Civil War has, like, prime example, right? I think Zemo is better than Lex Luthor in general when it comes to his plan, but I have issues with how Zemo's plan is because it's very like coincidental that this thing happened. That this thing happened. Like, his plan is very much by coincidence and not by.
Better than Lex Luthor's. Factually, it's as bad. It has just as many plot holes, dude.
Yeah, like I think both of their plans. That's the thing. This why. I mean, I don't know. I think DC and Marvel is working together with this stuff because ain't no way. Because these movies have very similar concepts. Both the villains are doing these plans behind the scenes to get our heroes to fight. Blah blah blah. And I think both of their plans are just shitty and dumb. Like, you're okay with Lex's plan. So you shoot people with guns, then you burn them alive. And if people who do forensics work and stuff can see that there's bullet holes and stuff in bullets inside this person, okay, they were shot first and then burned. They didn't die due to the fire. They died due to being shot. And they're trying to tie that to Superman. Superman doesn't use guns. So why would you think Superman killed those people? It's stuff like that where I'm like, all right, Lex, that's not really good.
Look, I'll tell you the biggest problem with Civil War for me is the complete character, just unbelievable character turn of Iron Man. And they try and establish it through some bullshit. Like, what was it? Scarlet Witch. She has a bomb that would have gone off in the ground and killed people, but she tried to fly it up in the air and it killed people. And I know you're guilty. But
well, I always thought
in the ground, if it didn't go off, as she was flying it up to the top, right? So everyone could have been like, yeah, I know you're feeling guilty about that, but like, if you didn't do that, the bomb would have gone off on the ground.
Yeah.
And more people probably would have died. So I can't see how her teammates bought into that. And then you add on top of that no, Iron Man, you're the war criminal. You don't get to tell the Avengers to sign accords to give away. No, you're the one who made Ultron. You're the one who made him that did that without any oversight, without going to like the government going, hey, I'm building this AI system. Can you imagine? Look how tight the regulations are. And I know you're not supposed to, compare the real world to this fantastical world or whatever. But look how tight the oversights are, even on basic AI. For him to build an AI system that essentially went on its own and, was going to destroy the whole world, turn Sarkovia into into a basic asteroid and kill the whole world. For somebody to have created that thing, that person would be in jail. There's there's nothing within the logic of the MCU that tells me that wouldn't have been a serious crime. So how, I don't understand why this guy is doing this sudden 180 when he's the guy who always doesn't give
that actual, yeah. And I don't disagree with you on that, because look, I can understand Tony. First off, when he starts out, very obnoxious, douchey dude. Even through his arc, I still think his obnoxious, douchey stuff still remained, right? But you can see he's trying to go down his path of still being better while still being very flawed. And then you get to Civil War, right? It's just Age of Ultron. He does all the stuff Ultron. Kind of gets off scot-free for the most part. Civil War comes. And he tries to project what he thinks onto his friends, that, like Captain America. Captain America did not do anything close to what Tony has ever done.
Yeah.
Damaging, killing a lot of people. And that's where my issue was, because, dude, I get where you're coming from. But for one, Tony, in my opinion, even in the Civil War comic, I thought this was weird too. Tony is not going to be no fucking government lapdog. For one, he wouldn't. With the way he acts, I cannot see him being a government lapdog. I can't see Captain America being a government lapdog either, because even though he fights for America, he doesn't agree with all the bad American ideals. He fights for the ideals that America wants to be and not what it actually is. So he's not going to agree with heroes having to force their identities to be known, which can jeopardize them in their pursuit of trying to protect people. But Tony being a government lapdog, that never sat right with me, because it didn't even seem right. It was not in his character. You can't be that type of person, be like, yeah, the government, you can use my Iron Man suits. Yeah, use my nukes. Use them. Yeah, I'll share all my stuff with you. My address is here, because we saw what happened last time when he shared his address.
What's worse is he knew Hydra was in there. He knew Hydra was part of the government now, or at least Captain America didn't he? One of them knew Hydra was part of the government.
They all knew, because in Winter Soldier, once Black Widow put that USB on the internet, she revealed all of Hydra's secrets and stuff. Right. So everyone knew that Hydra was in the government.
That whole film didn't make sense. That was the beginning of the bullshit I saw in the MCU, which I was telling people from back then. And you joined me on Infinity War, where I was like, none of this connectivity makes sense.
Yeah,
they're going back on much shit.
For me, it wasn't really Civil War. It was really Infinity War that really boom. Because Civil War, I think Civil War is better than Infinity War and Endgame. As a
movie, yeah, it is.
As a movie, and even in an ensemble movie with the Avengers and stuff, yes, they're fighting. But Civil War to me was a way better movie with the Avengers than Infinity War and Endgame, because
although I didn't like that Avengers fight either. I thought that Avengers fight was stupid. It's like they're not even really trying to hurt each other. They're just having like a little
that airport fight
match. They're making jokes. They're destroying an airport. I'm like, wait a second. Aren't you the people who just said that superheroes need oversight? So why are you going into an airport and just fucking it up over? You're not even trying to save anyone. If you were trying to save people and you're destroying the airport, fine. But you're not trying to save anyone. You're just trying to stop Captain America, kind of. I just thought the whole thing was preposterous. I think people are just like, oh, it's action, it's spectacle. Let me switch my brain. It's like what Jadis says, although he takes it way too far. But I can accept that if you don't go and criticize BVS for the exact same things.
Right. Because that's the thing, right? While I do agree one film executes some things better than the other, they both have issues because at the end of the day, it's all about execution, right? BVS can work, but it just matters what context you put in. Like, let's say BVS was a one-off movie that's not connected to nothing. That's the first time we see Henry Cavill's Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman. It's just a one-off random DC movie like V for Vendetta. At that point, you have to look at it in a different light, right? This is a total Elseworld story. It's going for the Elseworld thing. It's not trying to be the traditional connected DC universe route. So you got to look at it in a different light. I look at that movie in a totally different light, but the fact that it's coming off of Man of Steel and then leading into something else, like, but that was a one-off movie, totally different look. Not saying it had to be, but totally different look of how we would watch that movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, look, for the most part, DC is still better regardless, even if we're taking our L's and shit. Well, man, that Flash movie did not deserve to tank like that. But hey, we got a bunch of people that saying they're DC fans that don't show up.
The last three movies didn't deserve what they got.
Not Shazam 2. Birds of Prey deserve to fail. Like, that movie deserved to fail.
Wonder Woman 84 deserved to fail. Justice League deserved to fail.
I mean, Wonder Woman 84 technically did fail, but it was a pandemic, so it can't really.
Yeah, that's fine. But it did well on the viewings anyway. But
it was a streaming hit, box office failure, but theaters wasn't open.
You can't call it, yeah. But Justice League and what was the other one? Birds of Prey.
Wait, Justice League 2017.
Yeah, I'll even go.
It did. Regardless, it did fail in 2017. People didn't hate it as much as they did now because they seen the Zack Snyder Justice League. But when it first came out, there was a lot of people that did like it when it came out. But financially and critically, it was still a failure. It was still a failure regardless. It barely made its budget.
Anyway, man, I've got to bounce soon, so I don't know if you want to.
And I'm gonna get ready to head out. Yeah, we can get ready to close it up because I'm pretty much done. I got to get some rest. But hey, one thing I can just say in general, as a Superman fan, this week and last week have been very good to my soul. Superman Lois finale, the Superman casting, good.
Justice League World, man. Watch when you see it. I bet you're gonna get your.
I mean, all these tomorrow versions.
Making a live action version of that as the beginning of the DCU. I think it's a better idea.
Well, I mean, all these Tomorrowverse movies have been
legacy to that.
We'll see. I have to see it. I think it is going to be a good movie. I still think Superman Man of Tomorrow is still the best movie of the universe. Nothing has really topped it. Justice Society almost did. World War II. But I think Superman Man of Tomorrow is so far the best film of this animated new universe. Because
I did like that one, but I don't love it because, and the only reason is because in those early ones they just didn't put the music in behind the action scenes. I didn't get that. They just stopped putting music. Like, I don't know if they couldn't afford it or some shit, but like that's bad. You need like a good. Because I've even done it. Like you can do it yourself. Just put music behind like the old Superman theme behind some of those action scenes, and they are tight.
Yep.
You know, so that's the only thing I don't really like about this new universe. They need to like just get
really up it with that music. But see, a lot of the DC animated stuff in general, they never really hit with the music. It's really the story.
Those early ones, those early DC movies, they had better soundtracks than the MCU movies, bro. From the you want to call it phase?
No, I'm talking in general. Like I'm not saying. I'm just saying because to me the DC live action movies always that's where the DC like music really like boom the soundtracks, the scores. The DC animated movies in general for me the scores never really pop. like the music and stuff.
Dude, you're wrong. Go back and listen to the scores of those animated movies from the first phase. They pop. The Green Lantern one's sick. The Wonder Woman one is sick. The Batman, Superman ones were good. They were all good. Go back and listen to them. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm gonna check it. I'll revisit them. You guys, we're gonna end it on this note. My Adventure with Superman. It drops this July 6th. Please go support it. Yeah, it drops this week. It releases on Adult Swim on the 6th, and it drops on Max the night after. So it's gonna drop on the 7th on Max.
And is it how many episodes?
How many episodes? I think they said. I think it's 12 or 10. It's gonna be weekly release too. It's not gonna be all at once. It's weekly release because it's gonna be releasing on Adult Swim first, and then the day after Max. Same with Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, released on HBO, and then after Max the day after.
Oh, nice.
So same approach.
Got HBO Max. I don't understand.
They haven't updated yours yet. Have you tried typing in Max and then it transfers over? Because when you type in Max, it transfers over to HBO Max.
Where do I type in Max?
Just go on Google, type in Max, and if you see this, click on it, and it should literally take you. Because look, it still says HBO Max when I search it up, right? When I search up Max, it just says Max.
So then I just put in my.
You be putting your same exact credentials for your HBO Max into Max, and it should transfer over.
Oh, Max is not available in my region yet. That's why.
Yeah, so see, HBO Max still comes up for me. I can click on it.
Where is it? Is it America?
Yeah, it's in America. See, look, you see my screen? So right here, HBO Max, I click on it. Because it's going to tell me go to Max.
Maybe if I
Max is released in America now. I'm not sure about Europe.
And does it have the animated movies of the DC? Can I see if it's got all the animated movies? Can you show me?
Let me show you. It got majority of them.
My one's not got any of the animated movies. I'm like, cool.
I'm gonna go to DC.
LGBTQ. They've actually got an LGBTQ. It's hilarious.
Hey, gotta support the community.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so as far as their animation, let's go to A to Z.
Well, it had
they got the old ass Aquaman TV show, All-Star Superman, Batman and Mr. Freeze, Batman Ninja, Batman and Harley Quinn, Battle of the Super Sons.
That's one of the worst movies ever, dude. That Batman and Harley Quinn. So bad.
Batman Beyond, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker.
Go to the Justice League. Oh shit, they've got the Dark Knight Returns. Nice. Yeah, they've got all of them. Flashpoint Paradox, all that shit. That's good.
They got the Lego stuff, Lois and Clark. They put Pennyworth on here.
How can you say Suicide Squad Hell to Pay isn't better than the Suicide Squad? You're tripping, bro.
Wait, Hell to Pay? No, I think Suicide Squad, the first one, Assault on Arkham. I think that one's better than Hell to Pay, and I think it's better than James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I think it's better than Suicide Squad 2016. But the Assault on Arkham Suicide Squad movie, that's the best Suicide Squad film.
No. Both those animated ones are better.
Hell to Pay is not better than the first one, nerd. It's not better than that first one, nerd, man. You know it.
I didn't say it's the first one. I'm just saying it's better than the Suicide Squad. At least it's got like good villains in it.
Hell to Pay, I mainly didn't like it because of the animation. The animation was okay. The art style was not as good as the Assault on Arkham. It was, yeah.
No, it was good, man. It was good.
Got Superman Unbound, Teen Titans. I did.
Watchmen animated.
Watchmen animated.
Vixen.
Oh no, it's a motion comic, so it's the complete motion comic. You got the animated Vixen, but this is based off this is a CW adaptation, so it's a.
That's really good. Have you seen that?
Not really.
That's really good. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. That Vixen one is tight. That's why I was saying they should do that around the time of Black Panther. They can't do it now because it would flop. But if they had done that, announced that soon after Black Panther.
Well, the hope is that when Gunn does do Justice League and he puts another female member on there instead of doing Black Canary or like he does Wonder Woman and Vixen. If he wants a second female member on there, do Vixen first. Not just because she's black, but I mean that's part of it too. But you know, give her some exposure because she is a Justice League member. She has become
powers and a very original origin. You know, I don't like that model though. I've never really liked that she's a model. I think they need to give her a new job. I think that's a little bit silly, to be honest. She's a model and then she becomes a super. It's like one of those 1930s things, you know, before they really thought it out properly.
During the day, she models, and then at night, she turns into the Vixen.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Even her name is kind of dumb. I don't like Vixen, the name, but like whatever. They could rebrand her as Totem or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there is some heroes that do need a rebrand. I think, not Black Lightning. He just needs more exposure. He definitely needs it. If they ever get to Justice League 2 for the Gun New Universe, Black Lightning needs to join that roster as a member.
Black Lightning bullshit, man. I didn't see the show, but maybe the show.
No. I don't even. I'm not the season 1 is the only good season.
Is he like a Static Shock or what? What is he?
He was created before Static Shock. He was He's been around since like Super Friend days. Hold up. Black Lightning.
It's just stupid. He's just got lightning, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's why he's tight.
That's crap, man.
He's a brother and he can shoot lightning.
That's it. Electric. That's stupid amongst the Justice League. They don't need that.
I'm trying to see. First appearance, 1977. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why I like Vixen. It's just her powers. Like, I can see her on the Justice League. I can see her fighting another Justice League member with powers. I don't really.
Well, that's why once you get down the line, because I don't even think the Justice League stuff should stop in movies. Do some streaming TV shows with them too, so you can show more members. Like in a movie setting, you're going to have to downsize the team. You know, actors are expensive, but in a TV show setting, if you want to flesh out more stuff, do more members, like the Justice League Unlimited route, where they had different heroes each episode, and the Justice League was expanding to make it a bigger thing. Do some TV shows. Why with the David Corn Sweat, I just don't want to see him in movies. I want to see him doing Superman TV shows too. Same for the Batman, the Flash in this universe, movies and TV shows, animated stuff, like everything. If they're going to invest in this universe, you got to go big or go home. You can't just do movie. Give them a movie and then a TV show too.
That's
and then after that,
bro, I think 2 big movies.
Because not even the MCU is doing that. Like with they're wasting a lot of characters.
Yeah, I want them to go back to the 90s, to 90s, early 2000 comics for their storylines. I like some of the storylines these days, but in general.
Oh no, I totally agree with you. Like the 2000 stuff, not saying it's bad, But if you look at what people say from like their response to New 52, they said Batman Quarter Owl stuff is probably the best thing that came out of New 52. Like, what other stories do people really talk about out of the New 52 that's really stand out? People talk about his Jeff Johns Green Lantern run, you know, people like that. But
No, but it was better before the 52.
huh?
It was better before the New 52.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope they use the older run and not the newer stuff because the writing, let's be honest, it has gone downhill in general.
Very, very recently, it's improved again a little bit, but before then, yeah, no. Rebirth was bullshit. They did the same thing that the DCEU did. Basically, they like went, oh, people are like this dark stuff, so let's just go like 180 degrees, you know, to complete light fluff, and it was just like. It was so basic, and I was just like, "Oh, this is boring." But the new stuff, they've managed to balance that thing that they had in the early 2000s, where it was more serious, but it kept to the core of the characters still.
You're right.
You know, like kind of like how Earth One does, or the other one I told you of Superman. What was it? Birthright. That tone where it's like it's taking it seriously, but it isn't.
It doesn't jeopardize the character's personality or their traits in the process.
Yeah,
like Superman is, you know, in those stories, the light within a dark and gritty world. He's one of the few lights. But yeah, hey, that's just what I want, you know, for this, because you know MCU had an opportunity where they could have took Chris Evans and did a 6-episode TV show on how Captain America returned all the stones. Right. If you know, not saying they had to, but those are the liberties you can take. You know, if it was animated, we would have definitely seen something like that. But it's the fact that they're not doing that stuff when you could be doing that. You have all these stories. And we could have done a 6-episode TV show showing how Thanos became who he was in 2018. Like why he went from being so why he went from being so savage to merciful from 2014 to 2018. What happened? Why did he become so merciful with people? What happened? We never seen it. They could have done a TV show, live action, never done it. Had opportunities to and didn't. I want DC taking those opportunities. Fill in blanks, do TV shows, put money into the stuff, stick to it, do it, expand.
I really want Gunn's universe to work, but I'm very skeptical because I think he's got something if people will give him the chance to let the whole universe develop. But my worry is that if a couple of movies don't do that well, it's going to get mixed. And you might start selling some characters' rights, movie rights and shit, which I would hate.
I mean, Gunn at this moment only has like one group of people against him, and that's just, you know, people that really are Snyder heads, right? The only ones I see really against him, you know. I mean, you know, you're skeptical of him, but you're not against him. You're skeptical, but you're willing to give. There are people who straight up like don't like the guy. Gunn has more people that like him than hate him.
I also don't like that his DC movie is his worst movie, in my opinion. I don't think, especially after seeing what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I'm like, that frustrates me even more. That you can do that quality of movie and you just decided not to with the Suicide Squad. I just don't. There was nothing epic about it.
The Suicide Squad was peak.
I just didn't feel the epicness, man. I really didn't. I didn't feel like all these dumb characters.
I mean, but look, we too.
Use like what's that Ice Woman or whatever? What's her name? Killer Frost or You know, that's the kind of shit I want to see. You know, like I want to see.
But see, look, that's the thing, because we have to remember,
like
and he even agrees.
the shark
When they make
him dumb. That's not what's his name? King Shark. King Shark ain't like that in the comics. Like, ooh, I'm dumb. It's like, come on, bro. That's just one of your comedy characters that you love to do. The dumb one. Oh, the dumb but he's strong character.
But we have to remember, and he did agree. He literally went on quote agreeing with this, because when they made the Suicide Squad, even I said it, and you saw it too. It seemed like a soft reboot and not an actual continuation, right? It's a sequel, but it does feel like a soft reboot. Even Wonder Woman 84 had the same exact problem. It felt like a soft rebooted thing. Aquaman felt like a soft rebooted thing and not a continuation in a sense, right? And you know, with the way it was set up, I mean, there's certain characters already dead, they're gone, can't even really use them and do them. You know, it's just it was all disconnected. He only has so much to work with the already fucked up universe that the DC was. Now, since he's starting fresh from the top, you know, he has the opportunity to not do things like, oh, kill off Dick Grayson and Robin, which keeps you from getting your Titans, or doing Death of Superman so early. It's like they're not going to do it again. We're probably not going to see Death of Superman again for a long time. Not saying we need to see it soon, but we're not going to see that story for a while. It's already been done so quickly. Hell, they may not even touch Dark Knight Returns. Like, it's already been done. Would it even touch Flashpoint again? I doubt it. Probably not going to touch that.
That's sad. And they could have done it from this one. I think I want the perfect ending. You know, you just allude to the fact that actually there's this World War III happening with the Atlanteans and the Amazonians, and then you see the Bruce Wayne's father walk out of that car. Would have been a sick ending.
I mean, whatever universe Barry's stuck in now, if Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 don't do good, that's where they go to die. That's it. And then Superman Legacy not taking place in that universe where Barry's at. It's obvious.
No, I don't think it is. But...
yeah, because George Clooney is not going to be the Batman in Brave and the Bold.
That would be hilarious if he was. What would you do? You still repping for your boy.
If George Clooney's Batman in Brave and the Bold, I'm going to just blow my brains out, because if you're going to do that, at least get Christian Bale back. Don't get George Clooney.
Apparently, Christian was playing hardball with it.
No, I mean Christian's only going to come back if Nolan comes back. So he's not. That's the reason he didn't want to. He already said it. He's not going to come back and do Batman if Nolan's not part of it, which I totally understand.
No,
but
I don't. That's a bit kind of like, dude, we're trying to make a movie here. Like, we gave you millions to be Batman. Can you just like do us a favor and take a few more million? And
but hey, Nerman, I don't disagree, because he did Thor: Love and Thunder.
Exactly.
And if he's willing to waste his talents on that, hey, just come back and do a cameo. It won't hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. That's bullshit, bro.
Because Grace Randolph was the one who leaked the George Clooney thing. She said it was either going to be George Clooney or Christian Bale that was going to come back in the movie, which means they had to have asked Christian Bale for her to frame it like that. So they did ask him. He denied it because he doesn't want to do it because Nolan's not part of it. But since he did Thor 4, I'm like, hey, you should be able to come do this. You wasted your talents on Thor 4, and that movie sucked.
Yeah, he don't into that crap about, like, he don't want to be part of DC because he thinks it's a train wreck. Which it is. Like, I understand.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing. You know.
You think if Christian Bale at the end, it would have made a bit more money?
No, I don't think.
I think it would have. I think a little bit more, because that would have been a way better ending.
I mean, if you had Christian Bale in this is what, you know what? Honestly, I get it. It's a Flash movie, but they might as well should have done it. I think in that third act, Ben Affleck's Batman and Michael Keaton Batman should have been there both fighting. I think somehow Ben Affleck should have been along for the ride too, and he dies in that third act with Keaton trying to fight these Kryptonians. You know, I'm not saying, you know, just I don't think it would have hurt the Flash movie. I think it would have elevated and got more people to come, you know, watch it and stuff. So, two Batman and Supergirl and two Flashes fighting in the third act of a movie. Well, I'm gonna check it out. And it's a great grand action sequence.
If they hadn't have made Superman evil in all the fucking movies, what would have been really cool is if Zod had have brought out an evil Superman, like he'd brainwashed Superman.
That would have, and then he's one of his soldiers. As he said, as in the movie, he found Kal-El.
Yeah, exactly. If he had found Kal-El and like brainwashed him and turned him into like that would have been
soldier. That would have been an interesting twist. They have Henry Cavill come back and do that. I think that would have been cool, but you know.
But because he's been, you can't do that because like they would have gone, oh, Dark Superman again, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's.
Hey, yeah, you know me. I don't agree with the first Flash movie being Flashpoint. I still thought it was a good Flash movie, but you know.
It was a good Flash movie. Like, don't be ashamed.
No, but I don't think they should have wasted that story for the first movie. I'm not saying I would have wanted to see a Flash versus Captain Cold movie for the first film. I do not want to see that shit. But
one thing I wanted to talk about though before we go is I'm starting to rethink. You know, when you see a movie's got 50% like approval rating by critics or by audience or whatever.
Yeah. Not
by audience, usually by critics, right? Is that a bad movie? I don't think it is. Because what that means is 1 out of 2 people like it.
Yeah.
Like, and that would mean if 1 out of 2 critics like it, that means probably 2 out of 3 actual people like it. Because they're less discerning than critics. They're just there to be entertained, essentially.
Because while I agree with the critics on a lot of films, I like if I see a movie on Rotten Tomatoes, right, and I look at the critic score and it says like 50%, right, 30 something percent, and I see the movie and it's not really deserving in the ranking, it's a good movie then, right? But if it's a movie like Bumblebee, which I didn't like, I was the opposite. A lot of people like that movie, but the same critics should have destroyed that movie for its weak writing and stuff and all that, because it was a very weak written film. The way they criticize other movies, for example, BVS, right? I think BVS is way better than fucking Bumblebee 2019. I have an issue with BVS, but BVS is better than Bumblebee, and Bumblebee is just as weak when it comes as Rise of the Beast when it comes to writing. Like literally the same ballpark, and they gave Bumblebee a fucking 90 something percent. Like, it shit blew my mind. Shazam deserves its critic score. That deserves its score because that's a really good movie. It's way better than Bumblebee. But like 91% for this shit.
Big Bell, The Flash is like a B minus or C plus. I also think people have to take into consideration, like, as much as I'm ragging on the CGI in The Flash, because it is a problem, The Flash is a harder character to do than a lot of other characters. So it's like anyone who basically possesses super speed, and it makes me respect Black Adam even more. But anyone who possesses super speed like that, you know, that's hard. Like Wonder Woman, Superman, you know, like Batman's easy. Batman's the easiest. Batman and Daredevil and shit like that. And then you've got like characters like Iron Man, a little bit more complex, but essentially just put on a CGI suit.
But with
then you have like, what was the character I was thinking of? Spider-Man, super easy to do. Super easy to catch how he moves, like in the comics, in live action. Flash is probably the hardest to do. To catch how he's, because you'd have to create like your vision of the Speed Force, and some of what they did I thought was really interesting in the Flash. I love that bit where he runs into the Speed Force and then he goes blue, and then it like like his face gets. Do you remember that bit where he's running into
when he ran into it first and it got pulled back into the Chrono Bowl?
Back into the Chrono. I thought that shit was cool as fuck. Like, that's the kind of level of imagination you have to get with trying to, present the Flash's powers in a real world kind of setting.
Well, for me, right now, this is my first time probably. Well, it's only 2 movies, because both of them have super speed. This movie and Sonic is like the only times where I say, like, dang, I feel like the speedster was not dumbed down. Like, it, especially Flash. This movie, and I'm not like making it a DC Shield thing. Nowhere in this movie did I say, oh wow, they dumbed down Barry just to do this, and that. Like, a lot, the ways he set up scenes and stuff, I was like, okay, it makes sense why Barry's not moving as quick as this or doing this in this moment. I think one part of the movie where, they should have been running into battle, like them flying in Keaton's ship at the end to jump out of the thing for a cool shot. I think, they should have ran to the battlefield. But other than that, I never once in this movie felt like the speedster was dumbed down. Now, Quicksilver, while he had some better directed looking running scenes in those X-Men movies, my issue with him, especially in those X-Men movies, is that he gets absolutely dumbed down with his speed compared to the sequences where he's in the house helping all those people and stuff. Like when he's fighting Apocalypse. Apocalypse is like a Omega level mutant, but they really downplayed his speed. And when he fought Jean in Dark Phoenix, I'm like, damn, she go over there catching him and shit. She got super speed too. What the fuck? Oh, I think also people don't talk about this movie a lot, but Incredibles.
Yeah, but in animated, it's like it's
easier to do. But it was, that scene when he's running from the those devices and stuff. That was probably the coolest looking speedster scene I've seen in probably anything.
Yo, one of my favorite superhero movies that I never mentioned is Megamind.
Oh, Megamind's good.
No one's said
that's people don't give a lot of credit. That's a really good movie.
Yeah, I should have put it on my all-time superhero list. It would be high up there. But anyway, we should go, man.
Yep, we're heading out.
I'm gonna also see if my girl wants to chat.
Thank you all for watching. Shouts out to Brel. Many people in chat for showing up. Goes for that peace, love, positivity, all that jazz. Don't do drugs. Like I always say, everybody. Deuces.
What'd you do?